Hello.
We did it. We're here. That was fun.
Hello. Have we got a CCV here? Can we hear him?
It would be very nice.
All right.
I assume that the stream might be able to hear him at the very least.
Well, that's good.
Hey, there he is.
That's the magic trick I've been practicing for some time. Just just like it's an escape trick. I escaped from both of your camps. Well, okay. If you're joining in right now, no, this is not some kind of weird face cam podcast. No. You're watching Elite Championship Series Spring Division Grand Finals between Ex-CGG and of course Jaegers Esports. Map 1 has concluded. We are in the aftermath right now. Oregon, well, it's over. A 7-2 decisive victory for the lads over at Ex-CGG. And now we move over to Villa. So the first question I want to ask with Villa is going to be, Ebag, it's going to be directed towards you. Large map, just like Oregon. To an extent, there's going to be tons of vertical gameplay. We don't see as much of vertical gameplay on Oregon as we see on Villa. Practically almost every single bomb site is destructible to some extent. So that's why, in my opinion, at the very, very least, we're going to be seeing a lot of vertical gameplay. So do you think that, with how these teams have been playing for so long, and I mean, how these teams have played in Oregon as well, like they were quite aggressive. That was the one thing. All the defenders, irrespective of which team they were playing on, they were aggressive. They were going for early kills. I mean, we were practically seeing a bloodbath within 30 seconds into the action phase. Do you think that's going to continue over in Villa as well?
Yes, 100%. Ex-Cyberground, certainly. Jaegers, they've got to make sure that they start on the front foot this second map. If they're off the pace even slightly, it's probably gone already. We've seen them play Villa numerous times this season, twice during the league, 100% win record, and then in the semi-final against Manic, they played it as well, won out there on Villa. But it was quite tight, yet again. They let it come very close. All of their games on Villa so far have been explosive. I'm glad you mentioned the verticality and the C4s, because it's been a C4 hell the whole way through. I've been saying it so repeatedly, but it's been chaos, especially where Manic are concerned, but also with Jaegers as well. I expect quite a lot of that today, unless they have something up their sleeve. And let's remember, if we look back to that final, Jared, I don't know if you remember the Villa we saw between Jaegers and Lions Creek, but that was crazy, but did somehow come out in favor of Jaegers.
Yep. There was that one play which I don't think I
wasn't speaking about that, but
yeah. All right, so we'll be jumping right into Villa, but before that, one final question. Right before we head into the map to you, Jerry. On Villa, defending and more specifically roaming is quite different than Oregon. On Villa, we can see tons of lateral gameplay. Like on the same floor, you can expect defenders to extend rather than on Oregon, where it's a multi-floor system. So do you think that is going to play a major factor in how early the kills happen or how quickly the attackers get map control, irrespective of which team is attacking or defending?
I think it will. I think that you've hit on something quite interesting there, which is that it will play into the way that Ex-CGG liked to defend, which was quite aggressive and holding excessive amounts of ground. And certainly for a dining kitchen, can see that coming into play quite a lot, with some heavy presence towards that art and piano side, with possibly a few spawn peaks thrown in for good measure.
Alright, well that's it. I'm getting confirmation that everyone is ready. So without any further ado, let us start. Map number 2 of this best of 5, Ex-CGG. Well, they currently lead 1-0. It is up to Jaegers Esports to make that and to neutralize that score. However, if they don't, well, the pressure will be mounting on them and they would have to succumb above everything else and possibly, win 3 consecutive maps in a best of 5, which is no small feat. Counter that, they are up against Ex-CGG as well. So it's going to be quite intense for Jaegers Academy if they don't get this map. 3 maps, it's a long ways out. So hopefully, for all the Jaegers esports fans as well, hopefully they can start winning and hopefully we can start as soon as possible. I don't think there should be any delay. I'm getting confirmation that, we should be going into the map. So Ebag, Jerry, take us through the operator bans. I'll meet you later on and, let's see what both of these teams have to offer on Villa.
I hope you've enjoyed your time in this ginger sandwich CCV, and I'm sure I know what sauce you put on that as well. If I learned anything from Machine Soldiers versus Kills.
Sauce? No, it's a condiment.
Oh, fine.
I'm sorry. No.
Fine. Anyway,
yeah, I believe we can jump into the game.
Yeah. Okay. Right. That's enough about mustard. We'll get on into Villa. Thatcher is the first ban. No real surprise there. Jaegers. It's their opportunity to maybe mix something up with the attacking ban. I'm trying to think what we might see here from Ex-Cyberground. I feel like it's going to be the same as what we saw at Oregon, pretty much.
It could be. It's actually going to be the Ace, which is an interesting one. I feel like I said this the other day, but Ace feels like a very soft ban on Villa because you can just bring the Hibana as a kind of better alternative, if anything, for this map. Breaching from hard range, you have... Oh, sorry, hard breaching from long range, you have those 2 options. And just to remove one doesn't really do much, I don't think. Warden, though. That's an interesting one. That's basically a specific ban against someone, like, holding inside of closet, I'd like to say. That's a very odd one, especially because we've seen Jaegers sorry, Ex-CGG much preferred to use the Ela, which sees probably more play in that position. So I was surprised to see not an Ela play there. But that being said, I mean, Warden, he has his uses, very niche as they are, but that is one of them. So I feel like a valid count, a valid ban on this map more than any, I suppose.
It's a strange one. It counters a certain playstyle that we've not seen from Jaegers so far, whether it's been Villa this season or otherwise. It's a bit of a surprising one, so we have to see how that might impact this game. But looking at the beginning, not much surprises us. We'll have to wait and see if that Tachanka is stuck. That's still not a surprise either way, as he is a very impactful operator. But no, he is actually being picked off of his the Melusi, unfortunately. The IQ is going to be shown by Shift and then picked off as well to maybe discourage this Valkyrie play. I'm somewhat surprised that we didn't see a Valkyrie ban from Jaegers as they're starting on the attack. Ex-Cyberground very, very good at playing that operator in particular. They decided to just try and discourage it, but Robbie, I mean, even if he sees the IQ, he's probably going to go for it anyway. And he's been lethal so far today. I expect no less here on this site, especially with those 4 C4s as CCV, sorry, was alluding to earlier.
Yeah, there's so much to digest with this operator lineup, and that 4 C4s is probably the most standout element. Obviously, paired well with some well-placed Valkyrie cams that can be incredibly useful at the early round, grabbing a few key frags against the attackers. But also, sort of important to note that we have the Nomad in play, so any sort of flank attempts that might come through off of the intel you get from those Valk cams, probably less well advised. So certainly going to be enabling the C4 play more than that style of aggression from the defense. I think there's a surprising lack of thermite. I would have honestly opted to bring a thermite or a Hibana on this attack. You've got the 90 window to try and push with a Hibana. You've also...
Ooh!
Oh, no.
Oh! CA, he's taken down Demantas. Almost got a second as well, but just tucked around the corner. Nice bit of aggression from Ex-Cyberground. Yet again, works a treat, and down goes a key fragging man. With that little bit of intel that could help on a late push. And Hazard's down as well. A terrible start for Jaegers here in round 1.
I don't think that mental reset happened. This is the same game that we're watching right now. It's just on a different map. Pauses, getting a key refrag and the perfect peek against Superstar to even out the difference. And then Shatter goes down. The Shift pushes through Trophy solo. Suddenly it's all up to Run and Robbie, who still have a couple of C4s to their name. Robbie is... Wait, what? Oh, sorry. Okay, so Shift is on the balcony. That's where he got his kill from. There's still a presence from Robbie inside of Trophy.
Oh.
And he is surrounded.
He is.
Scary for him.
He's got to make sure, well, Jaegers have to make sure he doesn't take 3 individual fights. They just need to push him at the same time, make him feel uncomfortable. He's on the way towards sneaking out, and he finds pause. Will he get a second? He's aware of the peak and takes down Shift. Just as he remaining, and down he goes. Robbie gets a triple. Another few kills for the man. Jaegers, they almost clawed it back. They had a chance after being stifled at the very beginning. But in a 3-man pinch of one isolated player, they lose. And how big a signifier is that towards their defeat here today in the grand final? Wow. They have to improve quickly.
Well, okay, to Jaeger's credit, it was more of a 2-man pinch with 1 man completely unaware of the presence inside of Trophy. That Maverick of Ports, who did so well to drag his team back into that round with a swift double kill, just standing in that bedroom doorway on the wrong side of it, as it turned out. Robbie easily peeking him and getting the free kill as the Maverick was droning. And yeah, I just feel like that, I mean, that's what happens when you come up against a team that are so aggressive, that grab these early rounds. They force these errors that a team like Jaegers, as disciplined and as experienced as them, you don't expect them to make those errors. It's just the raw aggression and the mental game that Ex-CGG are leveraging against Jaegers right now that is forcing them to make these mistakes, and it's crucial because Robbie does not get away with a triple kill in that situation otherwise.
I believe Jaegers don't quite realize how aggressive Ex-Cyberground are being in full. Yeah. I feel like they're only seeing the front side of it, whereas we get to see through the map. And we can realize that they've got no presence on a lot of the site. Sometimes they've got players hiding in positions, but sometimes they'll send 3 men over from the other side of the map. I don't think Jaegers are quite aware of how weak Ex-Cyberground might be at the core. They'll learn a lot, I think, from the VOD after this game, but that's a bit too late in the grand final. There's nothing they can really do. They've got to learn it now and start adjusting. Second attack will be of trophy and statuary, Jerry.
They even had that prior experience a couple of days ago of this side, and I don't think it's especially different what we're seeing from Ex-CGG here based on what little I gathered from that game. Oh no, this soft wall could be the downfall of the player inside of study. Already Bomber has opened up the score count, and Demantas is going to go down from the peak of Bomber. Yet again, the Legion coming through, but Tazzy with a key double kill from that study balcony somehow connects with the heads of both Robbie and Bomber at the same time. I think he probably got more than he bargained for there. So now we're back at a 3 versus 3 again. Oh my goodness, Runner, what the hell? Okay, that's a bit of a throwaway kill. I think maybe getting a bit too big for his boots there.
Yeah, expecting Shift to maybe be on cams in that position, but he was a bit more careful this time around. Jaegers taking advantage for the first time here on Villa. Shatter still playing aggressive. Will he catch off one? Nope, he's caught off himself. Tazzy finds a third for the round. Jaegers, they step all the way up. It's the 2 supporting men, Shift and Tazzy, who get themselves the 5 kills. Jaegers take a round. So much more improved.
Yeah, I think the key there was that they did send someone in to kind of bait out that aggression from Ex-CGG, but the cover was enough from Tazzy, at least this time. I'm honestly surprised, though, at that particular defense was Trophy Statue. We didn't really see any action around the site, obviously. No. But there was a very aggressive hold of AVG to the extent that there were no reinforcements on those study walls, which is very unusual, and obviously the way that Ex-CGG wanted to play that, they wanted study to be that kill box, and it was for one attacker, but then it suddenly turned against them as the walls are opened up and these long angles are just not there in their favor. There's someone on 90 watching the fallback from Vault or down the game's hallway. They had someone, I believe, on the red stairs repelled by Skull, and just trapping all of these roamers, making sure that those cutoffs are in place. And then eventually, I think the last couple of defenders, we didn't even get a chance to catch it because Ex-CGG just said, right, F it, let's just run in and try and grab the final few kills. They're trying to speedrun Villa, whether they win it or lose it.
Yeah, well, currently it's looking pretty good for them. Didn't work out that round, but they're still going for that elusive play. They're bringing along the Cav to be even sneakier this round. Jaegers, they've got a very versatile lineup to do something you think a bit more standard, but that buck implies they're expecting this site, and they're expecting that they could probably take underneath, go for a very different plan. Oh, wait, is that dining? Sorry. Is that... No, I thought I saw... I might have confused myself. I'm pretty sure it's trophy, right?
I looked away for a moment, and now I don't know.
I'm 99% sure it's... Yes, it is. Okay, sorry.
We're good.
Confused myself for a second then.
We are resuming normal service, and, well, I say that as Shatter is on the Caveira. We've seen some really impressive Caveira on this map. I cast my mind back to the upper bracket semi-final, or upper bracket final, rather, in the recent Yukin 1 season with Na'Vi and Eminem, and Nafe ran the Caveira 3 rounds in a row and absolutely tore Na'Vi apart. So if a tier 1 team like Na'Vi can't handle the Caveira, then can Jaegers? That is my worry. Obviously Shatter isn't Nafe, so it's going to be a different question, but the real question is, do they know that this is a threat?
Oh my.
What's
where did he just chuck it? Oh, I think he chucked it out the door. Jaegers, they find 2 back, though. They managed to take advantage, get ahead in the man count all of a sudden. And Paws gets a double. And suddenly it's down to that Caveira. She'll have to do some great plays from here. Out of I'm not quite sure what happened that round, but Big Dave is sticking down the plant. There's 45 seconds and a big opportunity for Jaegers here to take the lead.
Impact comes out. Shatter deciding to circle down main stairs. Does see the twitch, but at that range, the Splash 12 won't do much, especially with a headshot to respond. And once again, Jaegers start off on the back foot, but swing back and punish the overaggression from Ex-Cyberground. Pause only gets double kills.
Yeah, he's having a good time of it at the moment. Really does help out a team. A double kill can swing around very suddenly. And Jaegers, bar that big mistake in letting that Valkyrie triple them at the end of the round, have actually been somewhat on top so far on Villa, which is their map pick. It's a decent start on the attacking side. 3 rounds will be great. It'll be more than they managed at least on Oregon. There's still a long way to go for their team. Thankfully, we're seeing great plays across the team. This time around, we've seen moments from a good majority of the players here. Shift and Tazzy, Pause as well. Hazard yet to appear. You can't win a game. You can't win a big game like this, a final, with 4 men on the team. And Hazard, he does offer a lot in other ways, but he still needs to be killing his way through. Otherwise, Jaegers don't have a hope.
Want to give a shout out to Syrup on Twitter, who's very happy about our choice of music on the stream.
Good job. If we're talking about random stuff like that, I might as well give out an EBAC award.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because there are some more.
We're well overdue.
So let's go right towards the staff player of the season. Let's go from contenders upwards. So starting with contenders, there were quite a few different players who got votes. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different players received votes from members of staff. And the winner, the contenders staff voted player of the season, is Mats for Machine Soldiers with 7 votes, which was by far the winner. So congratulations, Mats. You did a great job. Honourable mentions going to Creeds from Machine Soldiers and Sam from Humble as well, for doing a very good job. They've been fantastic this season. I'm very excited to see them all in Majors next season.
Yeah, they get that nice promotion, and I think deservedly so. Humble especially showing that they can sort of duke it out with the best of them, taking Lions Creed so far down the line in that second round of the playoffs, but unfortunately not quite making it. They get that promotion though, so that's nice enough for them.
I'll also add, just for sakes, the other people who did get votes were Alec from Humble and Fallen from Machine Soldiers. All fantastic players, did a very good job.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a who's who of Humble and Machine
Pretty
Soldiers,
much, yeah.
They were a fantastic pair of squads throughout the season, so yeah, understandable. Still, we have a 10-player lobby here, and we're just about to hit the halfway mark in the action phase. That entire north side control taken, and Ex-CGG are showing a little bit more respect to their counterparts here in this round than they have done previously. Robbie showing that respect as he flees from the scene of the crime, being 90, as he's left a load of footprints, almost caught red-footed, but Demantas getting those scans onto the player inside of bar now. This angle being opened up, and the player is ready. Demantas with the kill, and a second one, a third. What the hell? This is the biggest value Maverick hole I've ever seen. 3 kills without reply from the PDW9, rocked by the Jackal. Demantas making his mark on what appears to be one of his favourite maps.
Yeah, he always has a pretty good time here. Just survives that encounter with Shatter. Doesn't deal enough damage. Smoke and Mira to resist. He's still got quite a few canisters. The C4 will be a help for Bomber, who's sitting inside of Study, holding a cross angle. Now, this is a tough position to flush out. I mean, we're speaking about like previous games on Villa, and we've seen this position go awry, even in a good position for quite a few teams on the attack, even with a man advantage. So 20 seconds left. Still got to push through these canisters, the throwables for the defense. It's a matter of killing your way through. Pause has the diffuser, and he's one of 2 remaining as 2 come out for the defense. 1 versus 1, but Demantas! He steps up, gets not only the Study player, but the player inside of Aviator. An ace for the Jackal. Jaegers here having a really, really good time on Villa.
And that will do wonders for the mental on Jaegers Esports side. 3 attacking rounds in a row on Villa is nothing to turn your nose up at. And now, I think we've got a game on our hands, Zebak. Finally, after a really docile Oregon from this Jaegers squad, they've come out and they are ready to hunt.
I was wondering if they'd be surprised or confused at the lack of aggression and forget how to attack a site, where everyone's sitting on. But they showed that they really didn't. I mean, it was a really rough push in the end. It wasn't fantastically executed by the team, but thankfully Demantas was there sneaking on through Aviator to catch off the Mirror and then getting the better of the Smoke Bomber at the end. I feel like a little bit of too much reliance upon Bomber and Robbie so far on Villa for Ex-Cyberground to make the difference. Rest of the team disappearing slightly, and they're going to have to change that if they want to make their way through to a win. Jaeger's great effort so far. They let that round slip at the very beginning. It's still a long way from decided. I mean, Ex-Cyberground, we saw them come back from 2-0 down to a 7-2, so you can never really trust anything here.
Somebody touch the Mantas's spaghetti, apparently. Which is nice. He's cosplaying Maestro, right? On Villa. Makes perfect sense. You mentioned Robbie and Bomber. I was about to call them Robber and Bommy. I've spoonerized their names far too often. What? Okay. Well, there's the good night. Bomber out for the count, and you're right. That highlights it perfectly. Ex-CGG are leaning too heavily on this duo, and they're leaning too heavily on them to get these aggressive early kills. Robbie now on his own as the Pulse, a pretty good solo queue operator if you ask me. He can definitely just worm his way around any map with relative safety, although he doesn't seem to be checking anywhere with his heartbeat sensor at the moment. He's just face checking with the gun up, so
might be good for him.
If he used it, maybe he would realize that he's going away from the main push of Jaegers right here as they focus on Master.
Yeah, great solo operator, but also great potential to help his team out closer to the site, which Jaegers are in a lot bigger numbers. They're currently the whole team set around here to help out, but Tazzy's down, getting peeked by an aggressive move from Shatter on the Rook, swinging round Master. He's flexing his double black ice that he's got on the MP5 and the P9. It's worked so far.
Very aggressive on this master bedroom doorway, and you can see the Jaeger of Superstar very close as well. Shatter takes a bit of damage from the players pushing around Astro, and the trade comes through at 3-3 now. That Shatter with one of those. Now going to back on out to main stairs. Looking worse for wear. Those Rook plates certainly providing value. Demantas again appearing on the score sheet, and Pause finds that Rook. Now it's all up to Robbie, the Pulse alone. He now really has to justify this pick with no C4 in hand. Pause setting down the diffuser, but he comes off it.
He's just taking his time, figuring out exactly what they want to do. Robbie's in a dodgy position. He can't find the head of the player on the window. His feet are found. A lot of damage dealt to him. Very low health. He needs to hit heads with the UMP, but Pause shuts him down. Another great kill on the Maverick. Pause really enjoying himself here on Villa so far, as are the rest of Jaegers. A 4-1 advantage they take. A 5-1 on the attacking side. We'd see a complete turnaround, and I'm getting semi-final flashbacks for Ex-Cyberground versus Lions Creed right now.
Yeah, I think the one caveat that we have to put on this, just to dampen the mood slightly, I know we're getting hyped up about these incredible plays from Jaegers, but this is their map pick. Oregon was Ex-CGG's map pick, and this is a best of 5. We can maybe expect the first couple of maps to be slightly more one-sided. You only get that one ban, and it's a bit tough to surmount a map that your opponents are clearly very comfortable on, as we saw Ex-CGG were on Oregon. And right now, Jaegers are showing us that Villa is theirs, and it certainly is theirs for the taking right now. Demantas has put up huge numbers, but we've got to give credit to Pause, who has been arguably more consistent as a presence throughout these rounds, always getting value from not just his gadget, but also that M4.
Big round here for Ex-Cyberground, bringing it back to the 4-2, getting a nice defensive win on a site where they've not quite enjoyed themselves so far. They won it first time around with a big extension, across the other side and some brilliant plays from Robbie. But since then, he's only found the 1 kill. The rest of the team has really struggled. They've not looked convincing at any moment here, Ex-Cyberground, on this map. The very beginning of round 1, potentially, but that's not much. Jaegers absolutely dominating here on Villa, and they need a turnaround here, Ex-Cyberground. They take this map, they are in a fantastic position, given the, I would say, inherent advantage as a team they have on Consulate, which will be map 5 today if we get there. It's going to be tough either way, but I feel like Cafe and Clubhouse, 2 strong Jaegers maps, they need to make their strike now, and Robbie! That's outrageous.
That is a nutty shot, and he lands a couple onto the Astra Repel player of Shift. Big Dave to all of us. Demantas clearly losing his mind over that shot. As Hazard finally punishes the Mozzie, who maybe lingered just a little too long in that trophy area. So again, a 4 versus 4. But without that Jackal, any sort of potential roam clear may be more difficult to pin down. The real thing, though, on Ex-CGG's side is that they have probably no clue that that was the Jackal that died. So they may still be fearing that roam clear presence and very unlikely to go in underneath for any risky C4 plays. That said, they have 3 in hand. So if they know better, they probably should go for those plays.
Well, this time, Jaegers, they managed to clear out, make sure there's no Valkyrie around on the second attempt as well, winning it out thanks to incredible plays by Demantas and Ace. At C4 spotted by Big Dave, no damage dealt either. So very smart play from Jaegers so far, but they really did rely on Demantas last time around. He really did help out. They've got a lot to do from this position. They can open the holes like they did last time, but who's going to step up when Jaegers need it? Shatter's playing aggressive as well, over by 90. 3 C4s, may I remind you, as well, still in the hands of Ex-Cyberground to toss over at any point. Make that 2 as the mute falls.
Oh, and Shatter has
Rage quit.
He's been good-nighted off the server by Shift, who is being very liberal with the use of that. So I wonder if that's gonna, hit him back in the face at some point. Yes. Maybe the karma will come. But it will. 4 versus 3, importantly for Jaegers Esports, and the collapse can begin. Bomber with this rather interesting mirror setup is dead. Just as I pointed out, was that from 90 or was it from beneath? I'm not sure. Either way, Shift is going to take out Superstar, leaving Runner on his lonesome. He's got the mirrors to work with, but that position certainly a risky one, as Bomber found out. He will rotate the top of main stairs. He's got a couple of opportunities here, but he is known, and Hazard will clean up that Malusi once more. Another round for Jaegers on their attack, and a 5-1 split on Villa.
It's exactly what they needed. We were speaking about a Jaegers comeback. First round raised a lot of questions, but since then, they have been completely on top. It could be a 6-0 if they could seal that 3 versus 2 advantage and pinch Robbie. Jaegers absolutely on top, and we spoke in the semi-final about how strong Jaegers are as a defensive side on Villa. They are really tough to beat, and it's a matter of bringing it to the defensive side and winning as many rounds as possible. They won 5 against Manic earlier in the season, and they won out quite a few as well during the semi-finals. So Ex-Cyberground, they are absolutely against it. Yeah, should have banned Villa. I'm surprised they let it through. Banning out Coastline, I believe, is what Cyberground did. That could have been a big mistake, given the... I guess both teams hate Coastline to some degree, but...
I'm not a massive fan of it myself, so I'm not complaining. But, yeah, Villa's certainly looking far more one-sided than I think I anticipated. Ex-Cyberground, before we started this game, I was like, yeah, if Ex-Cyberground, if they're defending the bottom floor, they'll get to, extend across the map and go for these spawn peaks that clearly work for them. We didn't even see them defend Dining, because they didn't have a chance to. They were constantly pushing this AVG trophy rotation, and I think that really hurt them, honestly. I think they probably could have lent into their own playstyle a little bit more with this site on the bottom floor, but that's all in the past now.
I mean, they call themselves. I think is it the ranked stars?
They are the ranked players
in ESA, and they are ranked players in general who do a great job. But these are ranked strategies right now, and I'm not talking about the high level of champion rank that these guys play. I'm talking about silver and gold. There's not really much to this in general, and Jaegers, they've managed to pick them apart. Now that they set the pace on the defensive side as well, we need some good play from Ex-Cyberground to make sure that any roams are taken out. That was an issue for Jaegers on Oregon. They really couldn't get the better of them. This time around, Demantas is there, Scanner out, UMP out as well, takes down Bomber. Impactful player so far this game, and it's left to the rest of the team.
Yeah, Bomber out for the count, and again, Jaegers have this advantage. Runner taking a lot of damage from Pause as he contests onto 90, but gets the better of the Jaeger eventually. Now he can make sure he carries that important utility that he carries into the mid-round. I said carry several times there, but doesn't matter. We move. There's a definite presence on that middle floor by the roaming players of Jaegers. You can see Shift just lurking inside of Memorial. Demantas let loose Hazard's pre-placed C4, it would seem, which was fairly blind and didn't get anyone. Maybe it was left there earlier and he thought, hey, maybe I should blow this at some point. I think that's probably what happened.
C4s available for Jaegers, still an issue for Ex-Cyberground as they have not cleared underneath. There's a lot for them to do yet, and not too much time either. 1 minute 20, here comes Runner underneath. He's only found that one kill. It was this round as well, not too lethal right now. Jaegers, they have presence kill-wise across the board. They've all had an impact, but Big Dave Shift cannot make his as he is down thanks to the Jackal play of CA. Demantas, previously strong on that role, is down as well. So is Hazard. Tazzy stands against 4 players. Ex-Cyberground, this is the time where they turn it around. They certainly do. A revolution in their favor. They take their second round here on Villa and the first on their attempts of the attack.
And CA doing such a great job leading the line as the Jackal there with that C70. Such a powerful weapon. Even post-nerf, doesn't really matter. If you're landing headshots, then you're getting the job done. And that was fantastic, honestly, from Ex-CGG. A lot better, a lot more of what we want to see. Maybe we're just looking at a very attacker-sided Villa, and to be fair, bringing this up now, I feel like we've maybe overlooked it. There is a sort of a swing towards a more attacker-sided Villa at the moment in the sort of top tiers of play. That might just be what we're seeing
squat here, Jerry. I'm just going to be frank. It doesn't mean anything. I mean, it's something Elderbrain likes to talk about in the fact that the percentages are, what, 2%? Maybe 3 or 4 sometimes between attack and defense. That is very little impact when you're going for even just a 6-all split or something of that effect. And at different levels, I don't think it really means too much for these teams. That being said, the attacking has been fantastic from Jaegers within this map in general, and the attacking from Ex-Cyberground has been great on Oregon as well. Yeah. So if we're going off the most relevant and recent stats that we've got available from what we've seen today in particular, it does bode well. It gives them a chance a way back in. They're only 3 rounds behind, but that match point is lingering for Jaegers sitting on that 5.
Shift doing his best Nath impression here as he is hiding in the bathtub. I can't wait to see if that works, but the way that Ex-CGG are positioning themselves, it's less than likely. Although we do see Robbie and Jackal of CA moving their way towards Master, so they could be caught out potentially.
Did he hide his footprints? That's the question mark.
That is a good question. Yeah, I mean, he knows that the Jackal is being brought quite frequently, so I wouldn't be surprised if he did that. I want to just bring us back to... Oh, okay, here comes the drone. So let's watch these very closely. As CA is droning through, does he check the bathtub? This is the question.
He didn't jump.
He hasn't... Yep, there's the jump. He spots him, and down he goes. Robbie cleaning that up. Super efficient drone work there from Ex-CGG. And this highlights something that I wanted to bring up between rounds. We've got now a much more disciplined approach from both teams, okay? And it seems as though the side who dared won. That's a very difficult thing to say in the past tense. Who dared won on Oregon, and right now it's actually a case of the more disciplined side getting the edge. Wow, that's a nice call from presumably from the Echo drone to give that Zofia a hard time and a dead time. Bomber has been bombed out of existence.
Yeah, not the worst man to lose. Shift can give a lot of intel from that dead seat, but there's a lot of time here for Ex-Cyberground. They're sitting just outside the site. Risky fights could be taken here with the peek towards Tazzy. A lovely shot with the MP5 SD, giving Jaegers that ever so slight advantage. But on this site, with time ticking on by, that is a huge advantage. There's no need to be over-aggressive from this position, but Tazzy's still doing it anyway. He's found another, really finding form here on Villa. 4-2 advantage for Jaegers. They are eyeing up match point. Hazard takes down one more, and it's left to Runner, isolated over by main stairs. Wow, Jaegers, what a great round from them. Very close here to sealing. Oh, very close actually, yeah, just generally, not just to seal this round, but to seal Villa, as now they are officially on match point.
6-2 the scoreline. They've got so many opportunities to seal this out, and this is looking about as one-sided as Oregon did, but Jaegers, I was going to say victor. Soon to be victor, most likely. This is interesting. I was going to say, like, this is going to be a close best of 5, but I didn't expect each map to be so heavily one-sided.
No, this is a very un-ECS-like final.
Yeah.
I don't know if Ex-Cyberground just didn't watch beforehand. Maybe they weren't familiar with how ECS works. Guys, you're supposed to maybe lose a game during the regular season. And 2, you're not supposed to let the final be this crazy. But oh well. I mean, they've proved themselves very well. Still got a way back in. 4 rounds attacking side. We've seen Jaegers do it, but right now form looks to be Villa in the hands of Jaegers. What have we got to resist? Well, let's have a quick gander. The IQ's opted for the Twitch as well in combination to fight that utility war, but it's the exact opposite way that Oregon panned out. On Oregon, Jaegers, they just couldn't frag their way through. They couldn't win enough fights. Ex-Cyberground, it's the same here. There's been a lot of reliance upon Robbie, and earlier in the game it was Bomber, but since the first few rounds he's not gotten any kills. Jaegers, everybody looks like they've stepped up. Like Hazard, maybe not so much, but I mean, Tazzy's low in number, but his impact kills have been fantastic for Jaegers, and Demantas, just he's looking his 23 kill self right now.
Yeah, Tazzy deserves a mention for that previous round because he was rocking the Echo and got 2 massive frags with the MP5 SD. Not just that, but also undoubtedly providing the intel for the C4 kill on 90. So massive value from the Echo. We're seeing Jaegers as well keep Ex-CGG on their toes with a slightly different approach to this trophy hole. They're now sitting Frost inside a closet with a lot of protection, those ADSs and Aruni laser gates, as well as Frisbees. You see one of those on my discs just beneath, inside by that, by the Frost map, but it doesn't matter as Shift is just going to take the head clean off Robbie. A huge impact player gone for Ex-CGG. The clear is coming out beneath, but Pause meets CA and says goodbye.
Bomber's taken a lot of damage elsewhere as well. So much resistance. Jaegers, they seem to be everywhere. Ex-Cyberground are trying to attack. Pause still lingering nearby. As Demantas dies, though, Pause gets the call. Off he goes. Get out of there. Come back to the site. 3 versus 4. They've still got the advantage. And now extended. Tazzy growing into the game here and diminishing the man count for Ex-Cyberground. A 4 versus 2 advantage. Match point for Jaegers. Very, very close here to sealing the map. Pause, though, takes some damage. Alex takes him down. Shatter, some great damage dealt. Big Davey's aware of the player, takes him down with the ITA when the jump to bathroom happens. And now it's all down to that very Twitch. He's found one already in the round. 3 more to locate or doom.
And 3 toxic gas canisters remain. Oh, he gets off to the races though with a tasty 1-tap. But Hazard is there with the immediate refrag, peeking up from the shield. 7-2 again. We're speedrunning the best of 5s here, Ebac, and it's 1-1 apiece.
Well, if we rifle through Jaeger's inventory, we'll find kills, strategic dominance, 5 super potions, 3 pokeballs, and most importantly, map 2, Villa. So it's a very good position for them to be in.
Yeah, they applied the paralysis heal as well just before that that game because they were really rocked by that Oregon match. And they lost the first round here and we thought, oh, we're watching the same match play out on a different map. But that wasn't the case. Again, my early map prediction completely subverted. I should stop doing them at this point, Ebac. They're just wrong every time. Whatever I say
Maybe
at the
you
start of
should.
Cafe, the opposite will happen.
It's very bizarre. I don't know what to expect moving into the next map. We're going to throw it to a quick break, and then we'll be nice and back with CCV to tear that apart a little bit and build up for our next map, which, as we built up before, was probably going to be the most pivotal today, which is Cafe. So we'll see you there in just a few minutes.
Welcome back everyone to Elite Championship Series Grand Final of the spring season between Jaegers Esports and Ex-CGG. I'm of course CCV, joined alongside Ebak and Jerry, and you have so far been watching the first two maps of this grueling best of 5 between both of these teams. You know, it's been quite back and forth. However, it really has been one-sided. I mean, as soon as you see one team snatching away the map, well, they really take it and they don't give it away. The first two maps, starting off with Oregon, it was the pick of Ex-CGG. They ended up winning it 7-2. We then moved on to the pick of Jaegers Esports, 7-2 win for Jaegers yet again. And the question is, our next map, it's going to be Cafe. CGG themselves have chosen it. So Ebak, do you think the same trend is going to follow? Do you think the team that selects the map is going to end up winning, or is this going to be the first potential upset we'll be seeing in this best of 5?
I don't think there's going to be an upset at all, because this is probably the toughest map to call in general. Cafe and Clubhouse are the big question marks. Consulate probably has to be ex-Cyberground, I think. Jaegers, if they have to do it, they have to win out Cafe. They've really got no choice here. And then Clubhouse is always going to be tight either way, because it's probably both of their best map as well. And we've already seen that go all the way to overtime during the league season. So no upset here, but either way, there will be one team who's very upset after the end of Cafe. And I don't know. I have no idea. I feel like Jaegers might just have the extra bit of spirit after that last performance on the previous map. It's been quite a while since we saw a solid ex-Cyberground performance.
See, that was going to be my next question as well, is that, you know, usually these third map best of 5s, I know both of you have been talking about this for lengths and lengths during the games as well, that map number 3 of your best of 5 is probably the most influential map in terms of the results overall. And for that reason, well, the team that wins this map will be in such a good mood psychologically. And I know our lovely psychologist, like our in-house psychologist, Kangaroo Kenny, isn't here, because he absolutely loves devouring all of these, you know, I know mental states the players would be in, and you know what they must be thinking to themselves and all that. However, a quick piece of mind that we can observe as well is that, well, Ebak, like you mentioned, Jaegers Esports would be on a higher pedestal compared to Ex-CGG after the aftermath of Villa. And for that reason, Jerry, is this going to continue on Cafe as well? Because what we have seen is a complete change in the 1v1s and the duels these people have been taking. On Oregon, we witnessed that Jaegers Esports, they were prioritizing a lot of their gunfights. You know, they were, even as defenders, they were actively looking to take those gunfights. However, more or less, it backfired. You know, people from Ex-CGG just ended up getting those 2Ks and 4Ks and whatever. But on Villa, that completely changed. On Villa, it was rather Jaegers Esports who were winning most of their 50-50 gunfights. So my question to you is, what exactly is going to happen on Cafe? I know Ebak said it's very hard to call, but do you think Jaegers will keep on this streak of just winning their duels and potentially winning a lot of their rounds?
I feel as though Cafe is probably the least forgiving map of the 3 that we've seen in terms of being able to play this very ranked out there, of being able to play this kind of ranked style. So it's very challenging to say. I think that this personally leans slightly more in the favour of Jaegers Esports, as we've seen that their structured style is just a little bit more proficient than when CGG decide to bring out some semblance of structure, which we haven't seen too often from them. I'm wondering whether they do have a more passive side to themselves and whether that can work in their favour here.
Well, there's only one way to find out, you know, is there. I mean, of course, we just have to wait and watch these players perform themselves. So, for that reason, without any further ado, the players are ready. All 3 of us, we are ready. And hopefully, and most likely, the audience will be ready as well. So, let's jump into Cafe as soon as we can. Let's start off map number 3 of this best of 5.
You may have just seen me dancing there, Ebak, as we went in, because I'm so excited about this one. Cafe! We're finally here. The map that I touted as being probably the most decisive one. I think whoever wins this wins Clubhouse. That's my bet. And remember what I said about my predictions at the start of maps and how they're always wrong.
I think for Jaegers that has to be true if they want a chance of winning this one out. Consulate is too much of a gamble for them. They just aren't. I just don't think they're good enough on it.
Oh,
so
wow.
It's going to be
Strong
on
words
Consulate.
from
I mean, we've
Jaeger's
seen
own...
Ex-Cyberground there dismantle their opposition numerous times. Jaegers, they are unproven, it's not what you want, unless they've been saving Consulate for years. Just to bring it out in this game, I don't know. We'll have to see. But anywho, Nomad ban is a first one from Ex-Cyberground, followed by the Mirror. Jaegers, they've enjoyed their Mirror, especially in the semi-final against Team Manic. They had a great time using her on the defensive side, not an option anymore. And that Nomad, it facilitates the play style that Ex-Cyberground have been relying on.
Absolutely. Couldn't put it better myself. Wamai being the final ban from Jaegers, and I think, honestly, that's a fairly staple ban. There's no real...
Vague.
There's nothing to pin on
It's not
that.
specific.
Other than the fact that it's going to make taking Piano and Pixel slightly more possible for the aggressor. But yeah, that's about as passive a ban as you want. The Nomad, I think, is going to define a lot in terms of how this game plays out. Notable absences from the ban phase, making it through, are Kaid. We've got all hard breaches available. You've got everything in terms of sort of hard breach denial up. So you've got the mute to choose. It's a sort of swap out the mute with a Kaid depending on the situation. That being said, absolutely none. All chat is so distracting sometimes. Absolutely none coming through from Jaegers here. They're just going to be wasting time. Lots of utility soak here.
Yeah, that'll be important for Jaegers to hold on to some of these key areas. And also, Dan is observing today, and he's brilliant. We love Dan. And shout out to Skyscraper, is this his first time today at ECS?
Yeah, big shout out to him. Yeah. As well as Grissom, who stood in for map number 1. And fixed a load of stuff at very
I'm going to take
notice.
the moment to just dish out another EBAC award, because we don't know how long this is going to go on for. So I've got another one here. Let's go for a worst category. Let's be negative. Worst. Let's go worst named player.
Maybe we should provide some context for the newer visitors here, if there are any. What exactly is an EBAC award?
Get with it.
If you have no idea what they are, then you don't deserve to be here.
Exactly.
God, we're so uninviting. This is a thing. This is a tradition EBAC has been having for the past couple of seasons. He presents a load of awards for teams, players, etc. Anyone really in the community that has shone or maybe not shone during the season.
Put them on your CV. It's very important. Anywho, Matt's and Paws will be enjoying theirs so far. Worst named player. It was quite tight, but there was one player in particular who stuck out. It was a double cross player by the name of Fleshy69. And also, it wasn't just that being the name. It's the fact that it's spelled FLXZHY for Fleshy, which is just horrendous. It's gross. It's completely wrong. Change that name. Enjoy your EBAC award.
I'm glad he's not here. Are you saving the best named for later?
Yeah.
Alright, good, nice. Leave them hanging. That's the way to do it. Speaking of hanging, Robbie's just dangling outside this rappel here, and he manages to misplace a nade. Shatter also not having as much luck either, as he manages to take away half his own HP with that self-impact. So a little bit of nerves, a little bit of a stumble from Ex-CGG early on, some wasted utility, but they do manage to eventually burn down that shield, and they can force their way through. Bomber tossing out a Selma to make sure that freezer position is a little bit less playable, but they do still have to worry about the shield inside of Bathroom, whether there's a player there or not, which there is right now in the name of Hazard.
Slow progress could be the problem for Ex-Cyberground, and the problem's starting to mount up as well. Bomber's down. Demantas getting a lovely pick on the Frost. He is lethal with that. I've suddenly forgot it was 9mm something Majig one. Anyway, Runner's down due to the same weapon that I've forgotten the name of.
C1.
C1, that's it,
yeah. Again with the C1. He finally gets put down though at range from the cigar shot position. Shatter grabbing a frag before he is dead as well. CXA kills Tazzy. Demantas confirmed by Robbie, and now we're in a 2 versus 2. A lot of long distance trades coming out here as these angles are being worked very far apart. Robbie almost falling foul of the Frost map that we saw end the game for the Manic side yesterday, or most recently at least. He's not going to fall into that same trap. we still see Hazard inside a bathroom. Shield or no shield, he's going to stick around, and that diffuser doesn't really matter much anymore, as right now, he's dead. Robbie finds Hazard, a key pick there. Of course, now in the 1 versus 2, he's known, he's lit, he pushes up close with that shotgun. He's got a very limited chance here to pull this one out as the timer hits the red. No real opportunity to plant. You must see the player right next to him. Jumps up, but Robbie is there with the cover for the Sledge, who exposes himself hugely. The perfect bait to bring out the smoke from his hiding place, and that is a round secured for the attacking side of Ex-CGG.
Wow, I mean, one, how did that not kill the Sledge? I'm very confused by that. But anywho, it was won by Ex-Cyberground somehow. It was quite miraculous, given the fact that Jaegers, they played it slow and made sure that Ex-Cyberground were pushed for time. They had a 4-2 advantage, but then just lost a few unnecessary peaks. Tazzy's death was a big problem for Jaegers there, and then Paws was just isolated as Hazard not quite sticking up for himself in that position, allowing the attackers to come close and push him inside of Washroom there. With the angles that he's holding is just a bit overly cautious from him. He's had a really rough time so far in this final, and he really needs to step it up if Jaegers are going to keep in it, because that's another round thrown away. Just like the first one on Villa, they could have really sealed that out quite comfortably. They're attempting it again, and they're going for a very similar plan by the looks of it, and I don't think there's really much reason to change.
No, Dom will be happy with his performance. He grabbed 3 kills, but literally no one on the rest of Jaegers landed a shot, or at least a crucial shot onto anyone on Ex-CGG. So, yeah, going up again to this bar, as you mentioned. A couple of drones already thrown away, or just the one drone rather, from Ex-CGG. You don't want to waste too many drones. It's something that we rarely get the chance to talk about, as it's not so much in the heat of the action a lot of the time. It's very difficult to keep track of. That tiny little counter, very nice and fairly recent in the top of your screen, keeping track of the number of drones. How many are out, how many are in pocket. 4 out, 5 in pocket means 1 just got shot out, and that was the Tazzy catching that one. It was a bit of a suicide drone to the top floor of Cafe. You never really want to send one up there. It's almost certainly going to be shot out, and yeah, they're key pieces of utility. Don't want to waste those drones.
We've not really seen either team pushed in terms of intel so far this game. I've been very surprised by how how restricted the play's been in general. There's very little utility clear. The way that the game has been played by both of these teams throughout the season is not really present so far today. This is a very different game than we anticipated. And Shift, again, he's loving being aggressive today. It hasn't quite worked out for him yet. He is really being patient here, biding his time as the angles moving past. He's waiting for maybe the right time for a peek or a jump out here. Or he's just waiting for a head. He has to be careful with the Mark 14. He can't really afford to just take a shot and leave it. He's giving his position away to a punch and then not moving. Still manages to get the headshot, and the Sledge falls elsewhere as well. Demantas really having a great time so far. Well, Oregon aside on Villa and so far on Cafe as well. Just looking his former self.
It looked like Shift had squandered his opportunity there, lying prone in mining, but he is being pinned down after getting some value from that position. The Ash lurking around, Runner not staying true to his name. Instead, he's walking around the corner. He does land a few shots onto the Aruni, but now in the safety of this train, she's just trying to waste time. Shatter does find the Frost of Demantas again. That key fragger lost, but at least someone else is trying to pick up the slack here. With sticking with Shift, as we see this duel could really define how the rest of the game plays out, the rest of the round even. Shoots the drone that was just left as a bait by Runner. No one really hopping on that instantly, and now the peek comes through. But Big Dave reacts so quickly to the crouch peek from the Ash and takes the head clean off that roam clearer. Now it's all up to Shatter and Bomber. Shatter only on a sliver of HP. What can they make happen?
Well, they've taken down Hazard inside of the site. It's given them a bit of potential ingress, but that flank up from Shift could be important. He's done a great job of delaying the team. The 2 players pushing towards the site are relatively low on health, and the utility, the time, it's all against them. The Alder steps up. Tazzy finds another double, and Jaegers take the round rather convincingly here, winning out on that top floor. We head towards round 3 with a 1-all split.
Tazzy closing out there very nicely with the Alder. Exactly what you want to see from your Maestro. Just going brr and collecting those frags. That was a great roam. It has to be said from... why am I losing my mind here? Shit, from Big Dave. And, I mean, it was great. It wasn't amazing. The reason I won't give too much
Why
credit
was it
to
not
him
amazing?
because Ex-CGG just let him do it. There was one player hunting him once his position was known. And sure, you only have 3 remaining. It's got to be difficult to split your resources up. And with the timer hitting about the minute mark after he took down that first player, it's going to be challenging. But I feel as though you can't just send Runner down there alone to deal with it. You have to either just say, okay, you win the roam game. Get back, let him get back to site and take the 3 versus 4.
That's the choice. It's the choice of put all 3 on site or send 1 man. They went for a risky strategy of just sending Runner, hoping that he could have the gunning skill against Shift. He technically does against all opposition throughout the season, but when it came to the 1 versus 1, Shift had the edge, and he's had a very good start to this map so far alongside the rest of his team. But the score is still even for Jaegers. They want that advantage on the defensive half, make it a bit easier for themselves going towards the split. Demantas, he's going to really go for it with an aggressive peek. Something that we see him do often. He started off... Oh! Off he goes, taken down by Bomber. I was going to say it was the first kill of Cafe in the final of Lion's Creed versus Jaegers was Demantas onto Steno with that very peak. But this time, he loses it out.
Yeah, and that could be quite costly going forward. The gamble, again, not paying off. It's basically a coin flip at that point. You know, you go for the spawn peak, and now you lose. You're left trying to defend 4v5. You can't execute your situation or your strategy properly. As I say that, we hit a 3 versus 5. And with very little intel around from this defensive side, that is bad, because their strategy relies on burning time, burning utility, and they are losing bodies instead. Bomber taking out Hazard, and now a bit of a spray coming through, nothing gained. Now it's a 1 versus 5. Tazzy lands the first, but this is going to be super difficult for him as the bodies are swarming. Runner will take him out, and Ex-CGG make that look like child's play.
Just a little bit too slow from Tazzy. He's very, very close there to giving it a good fight. He certainly tried his hardest, but Ex-Cyberground, bit too much for their opposition. The over-aggression, the peaks, losing 2 players that simply... That's pretty much the round done against a team with the quality of Ex-Cyberground. They pinch towards Hazard from multiple directions. He doesn't even manage to take 1. Never mind wasting time on top of that. Ex-Cyberground in a great position here on Cafe as they're attacking Reading this time around on the 2nd floor. Jaegers, they brought a mix of strategies on this particular site. They're not opting for any clash play as they have done this season already. They're going for a bit more of an intel basis. They've thrown the Aruni aside as well, just relying on the Jaeger.
So I think what they're doing here is they're perhaps trying to throw Ex-CGG off, because they have the option of going back to the bottom floor. The castle would certainly indicate that you might want to go bottom floor and sort of play in that brown bar area with those castle barricades. It's a bit of an older meta, but it still checks out, and instead it looks like it might be utilized to protect Cocktail. We'll see how it gets spent. Obviously those castle barricades don't need to go out straight away. You don't want to limit your defensive sort of setup immediately by blocking off key entryways, but yeah, I'm interested by this setup because already they're going to Reading. They do have the option, of course, of going back to Kitchen, and that wouldn't have been a bad shout after basically leaving that round on a coin flip and failing.
Yeah, Jaegers, they didn't really show their hand too much for that defensive round, so they're going to keep it in pocket for the moment and go for... Ooh, well, Tazzy, he's not quite done after getting those couple of kills at the end of the last round. He's gone for an aggressive peek back towards the spawn, but gets nothing for it. No damage dealt, but none to him either. A quick move up red here could catch off a lot of the Jaegers players. We saw Manic do it as well during the semi-final. We've seen quite a lot of plays similar to this as of late across ECS, so Jaegers have to be ready for it. It does seem like they are, though. I think that's Pause sitting inside a train calling this angle. No, it's Hazard, actually. But he's taken down. The angle's opened. Down goes his head. Runners in the corridor as well, trying to capitalize upon that kill. Give an advantage to his team even stronger. Down. Oh, Tazzy takes a lot of health. But he's still hanging on.
The mining push, something we've seen come out from a lot more teams recently. ECS does actually provide a presence inside of Piano, and that's key that he wins that 1 versus 1, otherwise the vertical could be used against him. But instead, he's holding Piano now. Pause, trying to retake it. He knows that this is the win con for his side. As Hazzy finds one, Robbie responds onto Demantes, still in favor of the attackers here. Robbie gets Tazzy, clears the way for a plant. Bomber can start going down, but Pause does clear out that Piano presence a little bit too late, though, as the plant has been successfully placed.
Pause has split pressure across multiple floors. Here's the first engagement. It's against Robbie. Takes him down. He knows and finishes him off accordingly, but his position given away over by White. Where could these attackers be? He has no idea. One of them cleverly has rotated above. Actually just dropped. Unfortunate there. Dropping into pillars because they're down. It's Shatter. He's lost that vertical advantage. He can't manage to get the disable as Bomber, located in the back of Train, finds him quite comfortably and is there to save his team from Pause again. This time coming out on top of the man in the 1 versus 1.
Chaotic post plants. That is what we're going to get used to seeing if that kind of meta continues. I've seen, like I mentioned in the heat of it all, a lot more mining pushes coming through from teams deciding it's not worth traversing the death trap that is Piano and Freezer, or Bar and Freezer, excuse me, while trying to take control of Cocktail and get down for a sort of more default reading plant. You run the risk of just playing into the defender's hands, essentially, letting them dictate the pace of the game, whereas very often a lot of that utility is left alone and left away from the mining dining area. So you get a bit of a... What is going on here? Are they asking for food? No. We don't pause mid-game for food. What?
Clearly
this is so weird. Alright, well, whatever.
Season,
This is a bit of a weird one. You're not supposed to have, like, tactical timeouts, but whatever. I don't know. I'm going to let the back end deal with this. Ebac, you look a bit exhausted. That was a chaotic round.
Yeah. Not fantastic from a defensive standpoint. A split up, I guess Jaegers, they were anticipating the standard attack that you go for on that particular site, and all it took was a simple move across red, nice and fast. I mean, it's something that you've always been able to do that, and it's rather basic, and I'm surprised they were so caught off by it. Only Hazard really in position to deny, and still got taken down quite comfortably. He just doesn't look like himself so far today. He's definitely the weak link of the Jaegers team right now, and giving him such an important role for that particular setup really cost them in the end, and Pause wasn't there to rescue it, unfortunately, for Jaegers. But Ex-Cyberground, they're in a pretty good position now, looking quite tough to beat here on Cafe, and we spoke about how important this map is. They take this one, they've already got a foot towards that trophy. I don't know why they're trying to pick up the trophy with their feet, but you know.
Yeah, so we're just getting a bit of a confirmation that there's going to be a slight pause here, just while we set up the remainder of the game. I'm surprised at this. I'm surprised that Jaegers have taken their foot off the gas. They set such a good pace on Villa, and now they're really struggling on these defenses. I'm surprised that they went down to reading. They wanted to keep Ex-Cyberground on their toes, and Ex-Cyberground sort of saw that and they matched it. They brought out something that Jaegers weren't expecting a great deal of. That mining push, there wasn't too much protection against it. We saw a proxy alarm go out on the mining door, but that's very easily dealt with, and it was by a player just on the window, and that was pretty much it. There was nothing else sort of preventing that kind of push. They also read into it very nicely. They sent the sledge above to clear piano, and that was it. That's all the ground you need, really, to get a decent mining push going, as long as you've got someone trying to frag out up 90 and you're aware of any potential sort of drop down into pillar, then you're pretty much sorted. It basically falls quite heavily on the player inside of white to do a lot of jobs in terms of covering the site from range, and sometimes that's just not possible if the attackers have decided to make it their mission to get in there safely. Then they can have someone keeping track of that white player, make sure that they're prioritizing aiming at white as they go through the fireplace, and then there are actually a plethora of plant spots that are viable depending on the setup that the defenders have brought. So it was a very well executed take by Ex-CGG and Jaegers Esports. I think they're going to be a bit rattled by that, because up to this point they might have thought that they were outthinking Ex-CGG, but that just proves they aren't.
Yeah, exactly. That's a big one to mix things up. Thankfully, this break might work for Jaegers, just to take a moment and make sure they stay in a decent position going forwards. Let's take a nice little. I can see Jerry talking. I can't hear him. Oh, you're just doing
that
weirdly
thing. I have to reconnect every now and then so that
it's
it
so
catches
confusing.
back up.
I don't know.
I really don't know what the issue is. I can't fix it. But either way, it's
let's take an eBack award break. I'll give
go
the best named player, because it's been a little while.
I've been looking forward to this.
Worst named player, of course, was Fleshy69. For anyone who missed it, Contenders staff voted player of the season was Matt. In case you missed that as well, community player of the season via Twitter was Pause, who's done pretty well today. As well, still in contention for potentially winning out this final. Best named player, there's quite a lot this season. Last season it was pretty dull. There weren't really too many options. Up there, I've got quite a few. It's been a tough decision, but I think the staff kind of all decided it together in the end. And we've gone for Pocahontas, because that is just a fantastic name. Forgot who he plays for.
It's Kel's Disciples.
Kel's Disciples, that's it. Fantastic. What a name.
Pocahontas. Yeah, I loved it.
We all
every
had
time
a
I saw
great
it.
time.
It's such a brilliant name. I'm trying to remember, a couple of seasons ago, there was a player in Contenders that I think made it to Major Division, but then they disbanded, called Excaliburito, which was also just top tier. I really, really loved that.
Nice. Yeah. There's been some brilliant names in the history. I'm going to give some honorable mentions to Shirt from Double Cross, because that's just a great name. Hizaku from Double Cross as well. So many good and also terrible Double Cross names down in Open Division. And then, as much as I hate Shift, Big Dave is kind of weirdly iconic this season.
I'm liking it.
And he's repping that today as well. Some very Big Dave plays so far today as well. We'll see if those continue. And I know I'll move on to another category. There's the best and worst caster, which is usually a very contentious spot over the last few seasons. Who did I give best caster? Last season, best and worst caster was Noah. Last season, from his one game that he jumped in for. And then season before, who was the best? I gave best to CCV, actually, on our desk. Who could... Oh, no, he can't come in because we're going into the map. With CCV, and then I think worst was Jess, GOAT, for that season, because that was EEG.
Yeah, she was awful.
And she was terrible. So, anywho, this season, best caster, I'm going to give it to Cairo. Because he's not that's partially due to like other leagues and things as well, but he's just done fantastically this season. It's a very well deserved one. His growth as a caster has been brilliant now that he's not shoved on observing every week.
And
as much as
to his
he
credit
used to
as
be.
well, he's always up for observing. Like when we need him at our most, he's always there. So he's been such a heavy contributor this season, whether you've seen him or not. And like you said, he's come along so far. Really, really glad to have him in the fold at the moment. So yeah, well
he's
deserved,
great fun
Cairo.
to work with.
Can I give some honourable mentions? Perhaps
Go
of
on,
my
then.
own. I'd like to give a shout out to Liero. who's come in the latter half of the season, done some fantastic stuff. And now I've given an honourable mention. I'm going to feel bad if I don't mention everyone, so I won't.
That's the pain of the EVAC Awards.
If I haven't mentioned you, it is purely... oh, and Ryan. Ryan absolutely deserves an honourable mention for this season, too. Yeah, so
he's on my list alongside Fellow as well for very close to for best caster. But Demantas, he's starting things off brilliantly with a takedown onto Runner. Still playing aggressively on these windows, but there's players to come and pinch him. Lots of window presence across this top floor. Could catch off Jaegers if they're not careful, but Demantas, he's being smart and backing off. Pause though, otherwise he's done the complete opposite. Where's he gone? He's been taken down by Shatter.
I'm not
Was
sure
he peeking bottom white?
Potentially, we'll try and find out in the next few moments. But either way, at that point, you've got the 5 versus 4 on defense. You know, Demantas flipped a coin and it landed heads. Like he's actually done the job for you there. And now I feel as though Pause may have just thrown that away, especially considering it's a smoke that's lost.
Alright, well, I'll save the worst caster until after this round. You guys predict who you think it is. Who's your least favourite caster on the ECS roster? Anywho, Demantas gets the kill onto Shatter. No problems if it's me. It probably definitely is me. Anyway, Demantas is down. Bomber gets a lovely kill with the AK-12. 3 versus 3. Man count. Equalize. There's a good amount of time, Ex-Cyberground here. They still haven't pushed forward too much, but it's much better progress than the previous attack at the top floor.
So, Demantas' reign of terror is over. Can Jaegers continue to defend as effectively without him? They do have a full read on the situation thanks to these Evil Eyes, and Tazzy will begin spraying down range with the Ola, but doesn't connect with anything. Nicely placed Evil Eyes gives them every... Well, okay, now they can actually see the rotate into the bottom, which is interesting here from Ex-CGG. They don't have much in the way of utility to... provide from beneath. They don't even have any frag grenades left, so I think this is just prepping them for a heaven swing, because CXA is going to push up white solo and Robbie is just there protecting Bomber as he attempts to swing in. This could be a full rotate here, and it is from Ex-CGG. The question is, are Jaegers reading into it? Looks like they have repositioned themselves, vacated Cocktail, expecting the vertical pressure. I don't know if the rest of the team are well prepped for this.
Tazzy's so close, and he's taken down by CA. It's a very, very impactful kill here. The older man just wandering a bit too haphazardly. Hazard here is at the top of the stairs. He's let one player through for his teammate to deal with. It's Shift over on the east side. Well, actually, no. Where is Shift? I'm not sure, but Hazard's taken the kill onto Bomber eventually, and Shift has found his own. He's tucked in at the back of the east side. He allowed the player to come across and then took him down. Great advantage here for Jaegers, and there's very little time for Robbie to make this happen. He wants to take that 4th round, but with no diffuser, very little time. He could still swing. He's got the Gon 6 out, and he takes it. No, he doesn't. No, it's just not enough time. Absolute pandemonium at the end of the round. Just running away across his vision. Gon 6 is out instead of weapons. Dear me, but somehow, inexplicably, Jaegers come away with that round. What was that?
Okay, can I just explain why I've ruined your play-by-play? It looks like he landed a headshot at the last second.
It did.
Oh my goodness me. That was chaotic. And okay, to provide some recompense to the Ana in that situation, I did see the exact same thing happen in LATAM like a couple of days ago.
That's the issue with running the Gon 6 and the ARX. You got 20 bullets.
Exactly. I run the Gon 6 myself, but I love the G36C, so I've always got some extra bullets in the mag to deal with situations like that. And if you're running the ARX, then you run the risk of not being able to clutch out those situations. And unfortunate for the Ana there. That was so close. My goodness. On another day with another loadout, that was an Ex-CGG round.
Well, speaking of ruining my casting, let's go for the worst caster this season.
Have I nabbed it at the death for that?
You might have. No, I'm just joking. Honourable mentions, of course, to Elder Brain, as he sucks. And you know, he'd be probably the community pick, but
out
it
the
had
as well. He's
to
the
go.
reason I'm here. So he's the reason that you're getting a bad cast now is him. So therefore, yeah, makes perfect sense.
So it had to go to Dadback for a valiant effort, but nevertheless not a fantastic performance this season. He does know his stuff. He knows a bit more than Elder Brain, definitely about the players in Co. Just didn't quite have his chops on for that play day, unfortunately. So tough luck, Dadback. I hope you enjoy the Mancunian in the Twitch chat.
There's no prep presence. What is going on? I'm sorry to cut you off, Ebac, but this could be a very quick push from Ex-CGG if Jaegers Esports don't reposition. Thankfully, Ex-CGG have shown their hand, because now Jaegers are repositioning, and Big Dave, you see him above, he's working the mining angle, but the recoil just costing pause there. Free nerf Jaeger might have landed that, but he doesn't. Push comes around, and the CXA will claim that frag. Coat check established, and now that's a beachhead for a very promising push here. The question is, will Big Dave be able to get a few frags from that prep position?
Well, Demantas is very close by the bar, looking for a refrag onto pause. Eventually, comes out, bombers down from Big Dave inside of the site. Demantas is close, and the sledge isn't looking, but he doesn't shoot! He misses the chance. He's still got a C4 in hand, but he has no time to toss. Instead, he wins the fight with the MP5, and now he's already fighting all the way across into prep. The control re-established by Jaegers, and the man count now in their favor as another one is found on the top floor. Big Dave all by himself. He's dispelled any pressure in from the breach or on the top floor by himself. That's 2 floors fully in control of Jaegers. 2 players left, Shatter and Runner. So much to do, but a single kill could open this up.
I think Ex-CGG missed the opportunity for a rush there, because they've just allowed Shift to retake this place above, and now Shatter is so concerned with it that he's double guessing himself. Runner does have a long angle on Hazard and takes down a key anchor. He spots the last player on the bottom floor as well into Mantas, and now it's all up to Shift. He's done such good work here, but his team have let him down somewhat. He's going to open up an angle above, force the players to rethink any sort of approach from red stairs, but it doesn't matter because Shatter is already deep inside the site. There's no possible entry in here. He can't even prone his way through. He can hear the plant going down. The plant does go down, and Shatter will pop up and refrag his teammate. A great heads-up play there from the mute, but it just wasn't enough at the death.
Jaegers throwing it away again. Wonky positioning from Hazard, just giving them an opportunity with the lack of support across from Coat Check. He's just vulnerable through that wall, and you can't rule out a very nice wall bang. We've seen Ex-Cyberground do it numerous times today. I recall Robbie's on Villa in particular, across trophy all the way outside earlier on. 4-2 advantage now for the team in blue. It's a good position for them now that they move on to the defensive side. They're going to start out on the top floor. Jaegers, the positive thing for them is that these rounds they've been pretty close. They've thrown 2 of them away, certainly, that they probably could have won otherwise. But their attacking against Manic here was brilliant. They used that Kali fantastically. Tazzy had a very good time. I recall a team ace from them last time they did this against Manic. So it's definitely possible for Jaegers to try and move things back on the attacking side. They're just going to have to dig deep here.
Rare occasion in the wild, that team ace. So elusive. And yet so delicious. A delicacy, if you ask me. I like the choice of the Kali. I feel like Kali is underrated on Cafe. She brings a lot to the side in terms of versatility. When there is a Thatcher ban in play, she can work these very long angles that slowly get established throughout the round, so that the sniper actually does see some value in itself. And she offers one of the only real viable ways of clearing mute jammers in very key locations. So we can see these mute jammers going down, interestingly enough, from Bomber. They are extending a little bit this defense from Ex-CGG out towards the cigar shop. We see a Runegate in play, as well as Banshees and mute jammers. Shatter's just taking a couple of shots here towards, well, the spawn locations of the attackers, but he's not getting anything for his efforts here, and he's going to fall back to reading, and hopefully at some point get up these stairs.
Standard Jaeger at work, just practicing with that recoil, figuring out exactly how he's going to work everything. almost the first minute gone here. A lot of time going by, and Jaegers will soon realize there is very little presence. They could take in quickly if they noticed and put some pressure on, but they've actually let Shatter move back to this position despite being on the window, which he's now aware of. The sledge of Demantas could be in trouble here. Tosses a nade across. It's not going to get anything for it. He's in danger with the potential refrag as well from the Aruni, who is close by. Lots of very tight engagements here. Shatter looking very confident. He's really looking for this kill.
Yeah.
Jaegers, this is absurdly slow so far this game, but we saw that against Team Manic. That they take their time, they figure out exactly what they want to do, and then they blast in at a very, very quick breakneck speed. Well, they've got to hope it goes in their favour.
Shatter is playing this position quite well, though. To his credit, he's not coming under too much pressure from the piano side, but while that sledge was on rappel, he was dancing and weaving and making sure he shot drones, etc. Demantas, though, has repositioned to that far side in heaven and grabs Robbie for his troubles. So a nice opening frag not responded to by Jaegers, or by Ex-CGG rather. And now Shatter, he is a key piece in this puzzle. If he can grab a frag from this position, then it could turn the round on its head. Bomber, though, is the one to deliver that nasty surprise with a C4, and Shatter goes down to Demantas, who's grabbed a triple, finding CXA in the process as well. Takes the time to reload, as now he knows he only has two in front of him, Bomber and Runner. One C4 between them. Runner hiding by the default plant spot. Sorry, no, just behind that.
Bomber, he could prove a crucial flank here around the side, but there's still a player sitting by piano. It seems they might have learned their lesson. No! Tazzy's taken down. Bomber manages to escape with his life. He has time to reload. Runner takes some damage. No. His position isolated. They know that he can't leave. Demantas takes him down. He's eyeing up the ace for this round. Oh, Bomber is so close inside of the washroom. He goes for the wall bang. He can stick the plant now, Demantas, but he's isolated. Pauses there to soak up the kill. Jaegers take their first attacking round. Sorry, it was exactly what we were saying before. They took their time, but then they moved in pretty quickly, very effectively. Demantas is hard to stop right now.
So, I'm
gonna put myself as honourable mention for worst cast of this season.
It's fine. There have been bigger slip-ups. I've certainly been guilty of a few. At one point, I just gave up. I can't remember what round it was. Oh, wait, no, that was the CL quals. That was fun. A real long slog last weekend. And on the main UK channel, I just stopped casting and go, I give up.
You should be fired.
It was a mess of a round.
Get rid of him. Jerry cancelled.
Why am I like...
Cancelled Jerry.
Why do people like me? Anyway, we've got... I'm gonna get cancelled, yeah, definitely. Demantas, I feel like he would have been a little bit disheartened in that situation, just for the fact that he grabbed the 4K and then realised he was carrying diffuser. And he had to start setting it down. He would have wanted to hand it off. He could have gotten a second ace in this
with the new
5.
system, he could have dropped it within the site.
Yeah,
it's an option.
I mean, it was an option. It was an option, but he didn't do that. He's instead the team player. He's been so good this game. The 11-6, I don't think does him justice. He's had such a high impact, even on rounds that they've lost. He's been trying to claw it ahead for Jaegers, and Ex-CGG won a lot of attacking rounds where he got, double or triple kills. So
that being said, don't want to leave out. I mean, obviously, Shift doing a lot of work today, but Tazzy in particular, since the second map, has had a brilliant performance and has really made a difference here for Jaegers. Again, opting for the Kali, as they do love to bring her along for these attacks of the top floor. What will they see this time? Well, there's a bout cam on the top floor, and it seems like they might be going for an adventurous C4 throw. I feel like that's the one thing, we touched on that earlier on, I think it was you, or CCV earlier, about the aggression that you can do here on Cafe, and that's...
The IQ! She shot it out with the pistols!
What a shot. I mean, wow.
That is as good as an opening frag. And Robbie will grab Demantas with the P10 Roni, but not before Shatter actually falls victim to that opening frag. So, even man count. Robbie, again, double kill on the round, making this P10 Roni work for him. And he's taking control of piano. He's keeping control of piano. the repelling presence is gone. So he's just feeling the burn here. Big Dave just goes down. That ragdoll falling to the floor. And now it's all up to Paws and Tazzy. 3 versus 2. Robbie is not stopping. We've seen him do some amazing stuff on defense over in Oregon. Is this the Robbie of Oregon that we are seeing right now?
He's still going for it, even against the Kali of Tazzy, dealing quite a bit of damage with the Roni. He needs to hit that head. Even more damage dealt, but pauses. Oh, he's won the fight! And now, oh, no, he's not won the fight. Sorry, Tazzy's won it. He's taken out Paws instead. I got the players the wrong way around in their positioning. Tazzy left against 3. He's found the first. 2 more to locate, but he's got a good amount of time. Very, very low health is the issue here for the Kali. Does have a Claymore in pocket. Could stick that down, potentially, but there's a lot to do here. He's got to find the player prone inside of Christmas. It's a very tough fight to take.
If Robbie had reactivated this Aruni gate, Tazzy wouldn't be able to win. He'd have to rotate completely. There's still an option to do so, but now that he knows that Tazzy is dicing with the idea of peeking, he's not going to go for it. This is smarter play, really, from Robbie. Takes out an evil eye that was feeding the info. That basically allows Robbie to play passive and make sure that he doesn't overcommit. He's got to land every shot perfectly here, and Robbie instead will grab the 4K on the round with a Roni. What a turn up from this player. He is showing that he knows how to defend, certainly.
Yeah, really good play from the man. And a very important time to take that 5-3 lead, extending it ever so slightly, heading towards match point. Jaegers still have time to deny it as we head down to kitchen service and kitchen cooking. Still opting for the Kali. I'm not sure whether that's going to change. It's a good idea if they have an open setup. This could be a really good play from Jaegers. Maybe they're bringing it along to 6-pick away just to unnerve their opposition potentially and make sure that they don't bring that particular strategy along. Maybe Jaegers are trying to force them into a certain style of play. Either way, there's not going to be a 6-pick from either team. So we have all the operators and their counters available.
Lots of intel coming out from Ex-CGG here as well. They've got the bulletproof camera on the Jaeger as well as the Black Eyes of Runner, and any drones that Shatter catches early on could also be turned against Jaegers too. So very different approach. We saw Jaegers on their defenses of the bottom floor, and a lot of their defenses throughout the day lean much more heavily on the sort of catcher utility burn meta with Wamai, Jaegers, Arunis aplenty, and instead, Ex-CGG, I think this suits their playstyle. They want to be aggressive. They want to capitalize on the intel that they gather by going for fights in their favor. And Robbie is not even gonna want that intel. He's just gonna try and. I think that wasn't an aggressive run out. He was just checking for close drones and trying to deny Jaegers as much of their own intel gathering as possible. Doesn't find it though.
Yeah, no damage dealt to either party. Robbie's very sad for some reason. He's still got a Black Eye in pocket just in case. Not sure what the plan is for that, but Robbie's starting to use his electric claws as any resistance from Jaegers. Any attempt to breach from Jaegers is going to be tougher. They're going for this top down. It makes sense with the roaming presence of Ex-Cyberground. They do love to sneak around all over the place, but this almost in some ways might be playing into their hands. Ex-Cyberground ignored a lot of the roaming presence and pushed in direct and did a great job. Jaegers this time, they're taking it slow. They've managed to still haven't managed to push Shatter back until just about now, but him and Bobma still remain on the second floor. It's a long way to go for Jaegers, and Shatter, he's eyeing up the head of the repelling player, is the one to actually take a lot more damage until he delivers the killing blow. Crucially, the bullets landing on the head of Demantas. He's down.
P10 Roni sees so much competitive play. Oh, and Paws just sidestepping that C4. Whether he knew it or not, got that scanner out, but it probably wouldn't have alerted him to it. Just keep moving. That's the real strategy when you're running around on the top floor. You know that there's a roaming presence from the defenders, and right now Hazard, he's taking control of mining, but is he aware of the player right by that pillar's position? Maybe not. Shatter lands a few shots onto Big Dave, crucial ones at that, and Hazard can't respond. Oh, the C4 comes out from beneath. Oh my god, I've never seen a more dead Zofia in my life. Tazzy trying to reply onto mining, but it's just not happening for him. Pause is in pillars and grabs 1-2 as Bomberman Runner fall at the same time. Great pair of headshots there. Once again, Pause is always there with these crucial double kills in the mid-round.
It's not just the double kill, it's the supporting kills of players who need it, but they're in trouble here because Shatter's looming behind, takes down Pause. He's there to support his teammates a bit long after death, but it's an eventual refrag, and he finds the second as well. Incredible roaming play from the Mozzie in the middle of praising Pause for his fantastic play, but in being outshone there in that round. Jaegers match point now against them here on Cafe.
This is huge. We've been dialing up the importance of Cafe, of this third map in the best of 5 throughout the day. Sitting at 1-1, I really do believe that whoever takes this map carries it forward into the next and has that momentum. But so far, we've also seen a bit more of a pattern of teams just taking their own map picks. So I don't know. It could be a 5-mapper. We don't know. But you've got to give credit to Shatter there. That was such a brilliant roam on the Mozzie. He didn't let Jaegers get anywhere near the bomb site. That entire defense, which was a kitchen defense, took place on the top 2 floors. In fact, mostly the middle floor. And it was the P10 of Shatter on that Mozzie that did the heavy lifting.
Again, it was vague from Jaegers. They were attacking when in a style that shows that you don't know what to expect from your opposition too much, other than just general roam presence. They weren't specifically geared to take down Ex-Cyberground. I don't know whether that's a lack of preparation, a lack of adjustment during the game. Whatever it is, it's not quite there from Jaegers. They fall further behind. They were quite close previously. They had that 4-3. It was not far away, but now it looks a very long distance as Ex-Cyberground are just on top in most regards. And I need to stop being mean to Hazard, but he's just done nothing this game. He's a missing element for the team, and you can't have a 4-man team in a final against Ex-Cyberground.
Shatter is carrying on where he left off, landing not 1, but 2 runouts, unpunished. Can he get the third? No, Demantes will punish that. Getting a little bit too big for his boots there, Shatter, but I mean, can you blame him? He's been landing his shots, and across these 2 rounds, he's now gathered 5 kills. How huge could that be? The Zofia and the Kali gone.
Depends what the plan is here from Jaegers. Thankfully, they still have 3 of their big players alive to make an impact. It's a tough move. They haven't cleared anything. They've barely made any ingress. They haven't made any ingress at all into the map itself within the first minute. And everybody's still just roaming around quite comfortably. You got Runner up here, just wandering around nice and happy. Support across on the other side as well. Demantis is going to drop quickly and shut down Runner after he's very distracted from either a window spray or a drone. Yes, definitely was a window spray across Cigar. So a nice bit of ingress. They've found their way back in. 3 all-in man count. 1 minute 40 is enough time for Jaegers to work with, but they need to start acting now. Push the remaining players back to site and don't be taken out by Robbie. Pause, clearly didn't hear me. He's down. Robbie drops away to the site. Only Bomber upstairs, but he's down as well. So top floor versus the second floor for Jaegers. They've taken the control. They don't know it yet. But it's a pretty decent position. It's that low health for Demantas that could be a question. He's got to hit those heads.
Yeah, he's been taking matters into his own hands, not just this map, but pretty much across the board. Every time Jaegers needs someone to step up, he is there. Shift is looking to provide a similar impact right now. He's crouch walked into mining, gone completely undetected, lands the shot onto CX8, and now it's all up to Robbie. This P10 Roni has worked wonders, whether it be in the hands of himself or Shatter, but it needs to grab 2 more to secure the win on this map for Ex-CGG. He has time against him effectively. Drones out for both attackers. They can try and locate Robbie in this final instance. He's going to dip into the cover of reading. He's got a mute jammer by his side as well. He hears the explosions going around him. Demantas and Big Dave just taking their time with 30 seconds left.
Just got to stay on the move. It's something that was very good for them against Lion's Creed. Repositioning constantly. Takes some damage off Big Dave. Gives his position away, though. The plant is going down. Demantas, he has that hatch to play with to try and beat out Robbie. Here he comes. He swings, but misses entirely. Demantas is there to mop up the kill. Jaegers hang on a round longer. Still quite close to pulling this back. We're on to round 11 already. They only need a few to take it to overtime, but it's, a knife's edge here.
And the Mantas, once again, with a 4K. This man, we said it again at the start of the day. We said it even a whole season ago that he is the difference maker for Jaegers. He is the one that comes up huge when it's on the big stage. And whether it be against Lions Creed or Ex-CGG, he knows how to put up those numbers. We're currently rocking 14 kills, I believe, if not 15. And, like, you got to give credit to Shift, you got to give credit to Pause, because they do know how to pop off when it's asked of them too. But he's just head and shoulders above the rest of his team right now. He's keeping them in it. 2 rounds they need to claim on the trot, and it is 15 as we see that scoreboard pop up. 2 rounds in a row is what they need. I reckon Ex-CGG...
Robbie.
they're scared. They are playing scared.
Yeah.
They're scared to peek Dom because he's really just hammering it home.
He is running around with that commando. It's a horrible thing to come up against, even if he doesn't hit the head. It's that just body damage in general. It's horrendous. Hasn't took the vaccine today. He needs some sort of excuse at the moment. I mean, I would advocate Jaegers, like, Pause, he's been taking a bit more of a flex role here on Cafe than in previous maps, and it's definitely worked out better for them. I advocate a complete switch. I mean, Hazard, he's not a supporting player, but neither is Pause, really. It's kind of plastering over a US-sized hole within the team at the moment, and if you're stifling a Pause within your lineup, I don't feel like that's worth it for Jaegers. They're missing that slight element right now, and Tazzy and Shift are doing a fantastic supporting job right now. It's not as necessary. Anywho, Peak's coming out from Shatter down on the bottom floor. He's opted away from the Roni for a change and instead has taken up the T5. But he's still doing the same thing, which is lots of aggressive peaks. Will Jaegers buy into it, leave him there, or take him out? Well, they've taken down his teammate on the Melusi, and he's, moved back of his own accord.
Yeah, CXA or Superstar having a bit of a quiet day by his standards. He's gone down quite early here. I feel as though strategically for Jaegers, they're struggling because they don't know how to approach the building safely, which is step 1 on Cafe. And these repels are going to be punished potentially by the runouts that we saw earlier, but they are determined to do them. It's pretty much a necessity, especially when you've got Robbie playing this aggressively inside of Piano. He needs to come under some sort of pressure, but he threads the needle there onto Hazard, taking down the repelling Zofia, and his luck is continuing. Robbie again with a headshot onto Tazzy. That same duo that keep falling at the very start. It's just not working out for them.
It's the same exact deaths as previous rounds as well from Jaegers, not learning from their mistakes, and that is not something you say about winners. It's why they're currently down 2 rounds, but it's still pretty close. 3 versus 3, good amount of time remaining. They've still got the hard breach available. They can identify the remaining intel, especially for Robbie with those black eye cams that you can see they are watching quite actively on the left side of your screen right now, as Demantas tries to shut them down one by one. There goes another. 1 minute left. Jaegers still, though, Ex-Cyberground on match point. 1 minute could be the difference between them and the victory. Shift has his say. Down goes Shatter. Man advantage taken by Jaegers. Bomber now under pressure. His position known inside the site. It's down to Runner as the question mark to provide that pressure, but I believe I just saw him being droned as well. Back they go across to the east, and he takes one with him. The 416 takes down Demantas, but Big Dave is there again. Shift gets his second in the 3 versus 3. Pause is his supporting player. They can pinch towards this Jaeger. Position likely known behind the bar. So many angles open towards him, but I wouldn't be surprised if he goes aggressive here, holding quite a passive angle in the bar backstore, waiting, hoping that the split push comes through. Will Big Dave go for the plant, or will they go for this move? It looks like he's going to go for the plant. Yes, and Pause is covering. It's a very smart split, but he's down. Pause! It's down to Shift. He jumps up off the plant, wins the clutch 3 kills in the 3 versus 3, and we are all the way onto the 6-5 5 now. Overtime point for Jaegers.
Big Dave goes huge. He's
Big
now
Dave
huge
plays.
Huge
Massive Dave.
Massive Dave. Gargantuan Dave with the 3 versus 3. Oh my god,
Wow.
that was huge. And we were, I said it before the round started, right? We were like, Demantas, he's the one to make the big difference. He certainly did at the very start of the round. He took matters into his own hands, grabbed a couple of kills. Again, playing that IQ role very nicely, as we see them actually swap here between the two of them. Suddenly Shift wants a go of the Commando, or maybe the G8, depends on his preference. But yeah, Shift in the 3 versus 3, just cleaning up shop. Before we even got to the 1 versus 1 at the end, he won his 1 towards the Pixel player, and that was the biggest frag of the lot, if you ask me.
This is the perfect time, I think, for an eBack award.
Yes.
Because we revealed the contenders. I don't want to give away too much, but I'm about to announce it, so who cares? Majors, the staff voted player of the season. There were lots of people in contention. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players who received votes from different members of staff. So very, very split. Lots of players getting high votes as well. But it was actually a tied first position for player of the season. Staff voted. And 1 is on each team here today. 2 very impactful players in this particular match. It was Runner from Ex-Cyberground and Shift from Jaegers, both receiving 5 votes from staff. So congratulations, you guys. The staff think you're very good. You win a tied eBack award for staff player of the season. And
Very
I mean,
nice.
that's exactly the reason with plays like that from Shift.
Yeah, and not to discredit Demantas, because he's clearly doing the most work on Jaegers in this matchup, but he wasn't present for the whole season, so that's pretty fair, I'd say. And Shift has been such a presence. Understandable as well that Pause, who grabbed the community
Demantas
vote,
has missed 1 game.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
It's
Well, then
not
that's not
been
too bad.
that much.
All right, I thought he was gone for a bit longer.
No.
Not bad then. Well, okay. I guess it's just the big stage that Demantas likes then.
He does. He really shows up in the big moments. And there might be another one here as the Jackal Ping comes across and he follows it. Finds a lot of damage onto Shatter but doesn't quite finish him off. Surviving there. And what an impactful player to take out this early if they could have. Thankfully though for Jaegers, a much quicker clear of this top floor this time around.
Alright, so as things are getting a bit choppy for me, also getting choppy for Jaegers Esports. They're saying, chop chop, we need to get to work on this floor. And
I'm not sure they're quite that old, Jerry.
No, probably not. I wonder if they communicate in sort of
100%
slang. Yeah.
Oh, there's a Mozzie over yonder.
What ho?
Oh,
Shatter.
dearie me. Well, a trade, Jerry.
Well, that's shattering the Mantis, at least. I almost went with a different phrase there. And CXA is responded to as well. So again, this quiet player today is being punished left and right. Shatter again with another kill, but Pause retrades that immediately. 3 versus 3. This is anyone's round, and it could be anyone's game, as we're about as close to overtime as we have been at all ever in this best of 5. Robbie taking a lot of damage from above as it becomes a little bit less hospitable in this kitchen site. Runner though with a C4 onto Shift, and that is a lot of your big game players out for the count. Pause is really the one they're looking to. Tazzy in tow, and now 3 versus 2 in favor of the defense. Oh no!
I was
Down
about to
goes
say
Tazzy.
there's 3 C4s remaining, 2 of them used to great effect. Pause is the one standing between Jaegers and defeat on map 3. Ex-Cyberground are so close, the Banshee will give Pause's position away ever so slightly. The Melusi swings on by its runner, doesn't quite gain anything for it yet. He's backing off, he surely hears the running. Pause is in a really weak position. 15 seconds left. 3 players to find. He does have the diffuser, but he can't do anything with it. Down he goes. Up rise his opposition. Ex-Cyberground take map 3 in the final. The advantage is theirs.
And what a showing from them. You've got to give credit to Jaegers, making a much more close contest than we were expecting, or finally delivering the close contest that we wanted at the start of the day. Maybe is the best way to frame it. That was such a tense final round. The C4s made the difference, and it just seemed as though Jaegers didn't know how to attack onto Kitchen. They couldn't muster a good attack there, always falling foul to the roam game of Shatter with that P10 Rolly and eventually the C4s from beneath.
Too many mistakes, I think, from Jaegers. That was the difference between the two teams. One too many rounds at the beginning thrown away by Jaegers as well. Those 2 rounds earlier on that we said they probably had the edge on. They didn't seal out the 4-2 in round 1 that they had the advantage of, just dying one by one. Not what they need if they want to win this out. What a pivotal map Cafe could be, we were saying before, and it's gone in favour of Ex-Cyberground. So we head towards Clubhouse. Now, we know the history of this. Jaegers lost it to their opposition today in Playday 1, so it's not looking good for them, and even the final map is not fantastic. We've got to hope that Jaegers are fully on their toes, fully ready to deliver a great Clubhouse as they have done in the past, but we'll be back for that. Map 4 in just a moment. Stick around.
Welcome back everyone to Elite Championship Series Spring Division Grand Final between Ex-CGG and of course Jaegers Esports. I'm CCV, joined alongside Ebak and Jerry, and this has been the best of five. These teams, well, they've been performing for quite some time. You know, we've gone through 3 maps. At the moment, Ex-CGG, just like at the end of map 1, they currently hold a singular map lead. However, things can turn quite quickly. What we have seen so far from Jaegers Esports is, yes, they take a tumble early on, however, they bounce back twice as strong. Now the question is, are they going to do that right now as well? And for these questions, for all of this to be answered, of course, you know, Ebak, Jerry, you're here. And starting off with you, Jerry, you know, I've got to say that I've got this question that I've been thinking about. Our next map as well. You know what, let's bring up the map veto screen. It is a best of 5. You know, the map order, it's quite fairly complex. These teams, they banned a few maps, and well, we are playing the maps as well. So at the moment, it's going to be map number 4, Clubhouse. Either this is it for Ex-CGG. Either they take the win here, or it's going to go to the decider map of Consulate. So the thing is, so far from what we've seen from Jaegers Esports, Jerry, is that you were highlighting this in their attack as well, is that Ex-CGG were really up close and personal, were really upfront about denying them entry into the map, whether it was from repels, from doorways, from, I mean, any sort of entry point. They were actively taking the gunfights. At times they were successful, at times it backfired as well. So my question to you is, should they play by the same playbook and the same rulebook on Clubhouse as well, or should they play something like a more traditional sort of SSG hold, where they go for information denial and they opt that all of their roamers waste as much time of the attackers as possible? You know what, if it's a basement hold, let the attackers stay on the 2nd floor. We will destroy all of their drones and we will prioritize our roamers' safety into falling back into the side. Because like I just said, on Cafe, they weren't really prioritizing a lot of safety. They were like, you know, let them just shoot. We'll see what happens. Sometimes it works, sometimes it didn't. So on Clubhouse, what do you think is the most optimal strategy to waste as much time of the Jaegers attackers as possible?
I think that you touched on something interesting there, which is that Oregon, you have that option to be a aggressor. Just give me one moment. There we go.
Make his mouth
there we
catch
go.
up
My
with
face has got up. Okay. You have the option to be an aggressor on pretty much every map, but on Clubhouse as a defender, I feel as though it's the hardest. There are very limited spawn peaks that are especially viable, and quite often on an approach from an attacking side, they'll be very wary of those. And I think Jaegers by this point should be very wary of those when it comes to facing off against Ex-CGG. But things like playing the inside of the map slightly more aggressively, things like that sort of traditional SSG hold, as you mentioned, or just in general, roaming a bit more on a cash hold, providing a bit more presence, say, in lounge, in bar, looking for runouts pointing towards the garage quads from pool table, for instance, even strip runouts. This could be something that they employ in their arsenal, and I think it's something that Jaegers absolutely should be expecting and be prepared to deal with.
And well, on the topic of Jaegers Esports as well, you know, Ebak, ever since like map 3 concluded, you have been saying this, that for now, for Jaegers Esports, it's a bumpy road. Not just the map of Clubhouse, but of course the decider map of Consulate as well. You know, if it goes to Consulate, chances are they'll be going home yet again with that 2nd spot. So first of all, I mean, psychologically, yet again, we have to bring up this topic of where are the Jaegers Esports player right now in terms of their mental state. Are they already preparing for Consulate? Are they thinking to themselves that, okay, even if we win Clubhouse, what are we going to do on Consulate? Are they scrambling, trying to find some strats, trying to edge an advantage over their opponents? And it is this advantage that I want to talk about. Consulate, well, it's something later on. Right now, you know, I want to mention Clubhouse. Right now, I want to mention, well, essentially what we have seen so far as a quick recap of all 2 of our previous maps and of on the map of Cafe as well, is that should Jaegers Esports on their attack and on their defense, should they be focusing more on refining and rectifying all of their mistakes and making sure that, you know, it's like as good of a clean sheet as possible, they don't make any of those mistakes? Or should they be looking to say, I don't know, just chow down and just eat their enemies, you know?
Jerry, what's going on? Why are you laughing?
The eagle-eyed amongst the viewers may know. So, first of all, Ebat, why don't you answer the question? CCB's put a good question to you.
So I heard like 4 questions within that. Which one do you want me to answer?
Should Jaegers Esports be like rectifying the mistakes they made on Cafe and Oregon, or should they be looking to do what they do best, like whatever has been working for them, and try to maximize it even further in order to get a better advantage and securing the map?
Yes, exactly. That's what they should be doing. They should be playing their own game. We've seen throughout this season, whether it's Clubhouse, whether it's Villa and co, them playing their own style, doing what they want to do. Shift, having fun, flexing roles, playing with positions. They've been toying around with teams quite a lot and surprising everybody throughout this season, and it's worked so well. There's no need to just play so overly cautious or respectful during the final. They just need to go for it, go right for the throat and try and get that victory, because it's now or never. Last ditch effort. This could be the final map.
Certainly could be. And I gotta say, it looks like, we'll be jumping into the map of Clubhouse very, very soon. So as a final question, Jerry, which operators do you think will be the first to be lashed out, will be the first to be banned? Is it going to be the regular scheme of, anti-breachers and breach support and, hard breach support, or is there going to be an off-meta ban on this map of Clubhouse?
Surprised to see a ban directed at Ex-CGG. And speaking of bans, we've actually started the game and we're ready to head on in and see what those bans are. We could see something like I would honestly say that a Mozzie or a Rooney ban may be the way forward for Jaegers, just for the way that Shatter and Robbie have been working the P10 Roni. Certainly, obviously, you leave one of those options open if you spend your ban on it.
Fair.
But a Rooney ban is not the worst in the world. It certainly gets value depending on how you want to play. And I wonder if you see it. Ibana is a great ban coming through from Jaegers Esports. Very potent on this map in particular because of the prevalence of hatches on that bottom floor. So it makes the defense of the basement certainly a lot stronger for both sides. And I think with the Maverick in play, you're likely to see cash walls being opened very, very quickly.
Yeah, those C4s on the basement in particular are going to be quite important. And aggressive plays towards Mav holes, that's something that's caught Jaegers off numerous times this season. We saw it in the semi-final. Numerous points I recall, Tazzy or Paws even playing the Maverick, getting caught off on breaches around the place. So there'll be no surprise in that regard. And there's no real surprises in terms of the bans at all, as Mira is the final one as well. It looks like we were doing a quick pause because Paws is gone. For the moment. He'll have to reset just quickly before we get on into the map.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Pause. I think that also counts as their one rehost, essentially. Their one pause in this game.
This is probably going to be... It's probably going to be the most interesting and... probably from just a general point, a standpoint of tactics, this might be one of the most interesting strategical battles we've seen this season. At all, this particular map, because both teams are so good at it. There's no beating Jaegers. Jaegers only ever really lose Clubhouse to Cyberground in whatever form they are, or Lions Creed in the final last season. But that still came very close. It was a 7-4 loss. I don't know. Ex-Cyberground could play into Jaegers' hands by not going for the right strategy, whereas Jaegers could also do the opposite of playing into their opponent's hands if they don't bring their own bit of magic to the table. They need that little bit of spice, that extra element that they haven't quite offered, and we didn't see on Cafe or Oregon.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. And there's also the sort of key piece of history to bring up, which is that in the regular season, of course, these two played each other. I think we mentioned it a few minutes ago, but on Clubhouse, 8-6, the scoreline was in favour of Ex-CGG. And that's promising. It shows that at least Jaegers can push it to overtime on this map, and, today is a different day.
Again, even within that game, there were rounds that were just kind of thrown away. It was the standard. If anyone's seen Jaegers recently on Clubhouse, they at least once a game do the CCTV rush where Paws will just play Thermite or get Tazzy to play Thermite even though he hates it, and then just charge in through the breach and try and plant. It's not the sort of thing that usually works for them. It almost always doesn't work, and they lose the round. So I'm hoping we don't see the likes of that strategy. Maybe they'll mix something up here on the basement. Well, they've got something up their sleeve at the very least with that Monty pick.
And Ex-CGG have a pair of P10 Ronies in their hand yet
They
again.
do. It's scary looking at that lineup from Ex-Cyberground.
Yeah, this is certainly going to be a sort... I imagine that this is going to be some version of the SSG hold with the drone denial utility that they have on board. And the intel as well from Robbie, which should be wisely used in terms of a retake potential down those main stairs and down across the map. That the strength of the SSG hold essentially on this map is that you have numerous routes back in, but as I say that, it looks like they're just playing a default strat fairly aggressively based off the positioning in this early round. Shatter's just probing, waiting for an opening. Him and CXA trading places to make sure that they are positioned well for this opening, and Hazard is already in place by those boxes, looking to get the cut-off essentially. He sniffs the pest, but not before Shatter can shoot it completely out, shoot the drone out. That's one drone lost for the attackers already. In fact, yep, one exactly. And Mantas getting a position already to open up kitchen. That's interesting. Very early aggression into kitchen, considering that they haven't cleared bar, considering they haven't cleared main stairs. They do have faith, I suppose, in Hazard on this flank watch. Runner has a pest drone inside this chip fryer, so they have intel on any push that comes through into kitchen. The C4 returns to the grip of Runner as it is dutifully opened from above by Demanta, somehow surviving the bullet spray, but obviously the soft destruction triggering the fall. So very nice for Runner. He was actually trying to get that off the ceiling, so that's very convenient for him. Is there a dirt tunnel push coming through as well?
Did I? Yeah, dirt tunnel rush is the most important thing here. I was wondering if Demantas shot a C4 out the air from Shatter in that engagement. But anywho, the split push comes Hazard. He's the surprise element whilst the Monty takes all the attention, pulls the shield away but doesn't take the kill. Bomber gets 2. Robbie's down elsewhere. A 3 versus 3 of standing men, but one of them's a Monty, providing a lot of intel towards the players stuck inside the generator. Thankfully, they've got the rotates to allow them to come in. Pause takes down one in the back of the site, and a vertical kill onto CA. Now a 3 versus 2. The Monty now coming into very, very strong use. Pause can try and stick this plant as both players on the defense are over on the south split. South versus north hold. Pause is sticking it, but here comes Shatter. He's very close. The Monty goes aggressive. Doesn't win the fight. It's Demantas getting both from the hatch. A very dramatic first round, but very convincingly in the hands of Jaegers. A very surprisingly executed attack, but it worked brilliantly.
That was an interesting one. Yeah, the push down dirt certainly proving the X factor in that round. It's surprising to me that Ex-CGG didn't have a lock on that at any point. Obviously, the Monty clearly did work with a player alongside him. I believe it must have been Tazzy on the Maverick to get that through and provide the pressure. But of course, Hazard sweeping in through blue undetected was the main difference maker when it came to the push. He grabbed an early frag. Bomber responded with a couple of his own, but at that point it was panic stations for Ex-CGG. They were surrounded. They were trying to sort of fumble for safe ground and couldn't find any.
That's exactly what we're talking about. The thing that Jaegers need to do this game is bring out their weirder strategies. Do something a bit unexpected from Ex-Cyberground, because they haven't really offered up anything more than the standard, like some variation of the standard from what you expect. And that works a good amount, because Ex-Cyberground have really struggled against some of the very well put together moves from Jaegers, but you combine that with unpredictability, it really does have an edge, and that seemed the difference between the two teams. Still relatively close for Ex-Cyberground, but in terms of the man count and such, but quite a convincing win from Jaegers. What will they offer up this time now that Ex-Cyberground will be aware of it? I'm thinking maybe a slightly more traditional top-down. CA is going to try and stem them. Takes down Demantas, and that is a huge problem already for this team. But he's not done yet. He's going for a second, and that could be a big issue for Ex-Cyberground. It's the sort of thing we saw Jaegers doing earlier. Over-peaking something, going for another when you don't need to, and it's a simple trade.
Yeah, CXA just doesn't know when to quit, unfortunately, because that was a nice early advantage for him. Whether he knew it or not, it was the Buck's head he took off, and that is some valuable utility when it comes to the vertical play, as we saw in the last round. But once again, basement defense, once again, the Monty coming through to apply pressure to this dirt position. And Ex-CGG, though they decide to meet Jaegers with a little bit more aggression than they did last time, it still doesn't work out particularly well. They have lost the Melusi, lost that C4 early on, but her set and forget utility does contain that value throughout the round. So maybe a good trade early on if we're sort of thinking about this in the grand scheme of things. Shatter takes a bit of damage from the flank hold, and Paws has forced his way into stop. Soft hatch as well means that this should be fairly easy pushing for the attackers.
Yeah. The issue is those C4s. It's the fact that they have to place down breach charges or use those remote
hatch at this point, right? Like, no Hibana. You've got loads of C4s against you. It would be rough.
Potentially. A lot of teams in ECS do love opening that hatch and using that play. Shatter, he's going to try and sneak around, find a player inside a stock. He's dancing around. He's actually snuck very, very close here to the Maverick. I believe Tazzy's holding an angle on the hatch as Big Dave goes down inside of the site, I believe. Pushing on in with the Monty. Here comes the Mozzie, the very slow play, but he's missed the drop. He gets there in time just before Tazzy can... Oh, no, it's not Tazzy. It's somebody else. I believe... Yeah, Pause he takes down. Tazzy's now down in the end, and Hazard, he's isolated inside of the tunnel.
Yeah, and this is a very hazardous position for him to be in. He's got the potential for everyone on Ex-CGG to just swing him. First one comes out, and it's Runner, and he's not supported. That was very puzzling, but Bulmer is there finally, timing his push with a run out into the dirt tunnel from outside. And that will be enough to secure the final frag. So, good defense there by Ex-CGG. Playing the map very nicely. That flank from the Mozzie in the mid-round certainly proving a big difference maker and catching that blue push unawares.
I hate to say it, but the strategies for Jaegers seem to be win it once and that's it type strategies, like a round that you can win with a nice strategy, but then if you try it again, they'll know what to do and they'll take you down. And they just didn't really have anything for that round. There was no extra plan. There was no bizarre other element that they could have added. They didn't even switch it up and put pressure over to a different area. I feel like losing Demantas was a big blow on their plans for that round, but it still wasn't enough. We need a bit more of a switch around mid-round, we being Jaegers, if we want to have a chance at winning out Clubhouse. They don't have much room for error. They lose this, that is the final for Ex-Cyberground.
Showing a little bit of your content creator bias there, Rebax. It's got to keep you in check.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fine. But yeah, Big Dave...
It helps. Demantas kind of sucks on Clubhouse, historically. It's not one of his best maps.
It's good. It gives you free reign to be as savage as you like to Jaegers as well, so it works both ways. I like it. Shift is sticking on this Monty, knowing that it will be a different site and most likely be cash, is almost certainly read into. In fact, we've got the same lineup exactly from Jaegers Esports, going for that Swiss Army knife approach, as I like to call it, or Swiss Army knife approach, as I prefer to call it when I can actually get my words together. CXA is playing fairly aggressively. Who'da thunk it? With a P10 Roni on the garage door, and Hazard is going to punish that very swiftly. So, once again, winning that duel. The Thermite, though, carries a lot of value in this round, and he will continue walking towards the garage door and meet his demise for it. Shatter managing to get the refrag onto that position. And now, back in a 4 versus 4. Have we seen this one before, Reback?
Yes. It's rather familiar. Ooh. Shatter with a nice blue view, and he sees Paws through it, takes him down, can't get the finisher. Big Dave, he's going to stand right in the way and hope that someone can get round to revive around the corner, but it does mean there's very little presence on the rest of the map for Jaegers if they are going to do that. The first minute has not gone very well for them. It's still in a decent spot, though. They've got the Maverick, they've got the soft breaches to work together with that Maverick trick to get the breach open. But getting a breach open, that's the standard. You expect that at the very least. What else are you going to offer up this round? Well, Demantas, he's fallen as well. It seems the revive might be able to take place onto him as well. But Big Dave's actually pushed forward. He's having a punch war with Robbie up here, going for him with his Oh my, what a shot with the Roni. He does not fall for Shift's distraction, instead punches him down. Tazzy gets a kill elsewhere to bring things back a little bit for Jaegers. A 2 versus 3, but very low health. Ooh, a 2 versus 2. Health is still a big problem. And a decent amount of time. Another kill. So they're just proving me wrong immediately.
This round makes no sense, right?
Yeah. What? I'm not sure what's going on here.
They're really
either way, you can still have a good chance.
Really prioritising Garage, and it's cost them a lot of bodies, but it's also gained them a lot of bodies because I think Jaegers being met with slight over-aggression again from Ex-CGG. They've left Diffuser in spawn. 55 seconds left, thankfully, so they have time to recover it. The Pause and Tazzy, as you mentioned, very low on HP. The only one really looking in any way healthy is Runner. And even he's not perfect. So, the question is, can they win these fights? We know that as Pause walks up these stairs, he's going to be held by a long angle from this elevated position. Not being watched. Oh, it is. There we go, by Runner. Sorry, my silhouette's a little bit blurry. So there we go. Manages to bypass that obstacle, and now he has a chance at getting a plant down, potentially. He holds it, opens up that breach, and he can get into default.
He's going to concuss across, but the C4 for Runner, they're going to have to bait it out. They have a tiny bit of time, but it's really not enough. Tazzy's probably going to have to swing towards Shatter, try and take him on red as Pause is going for the stick. That C4 won't do enough damage to Pause. He stays alive for a moment, but it is brief, very brief indeed. Out flickers that candle. Jaegers lose the round. Great play from Ex-Cyberground. And Skyscraper, if I can get the cam back to me for a second. I've got another eBack award to give, courtesy of Dadback.
Okay.
He's given me a prompt. I wasn't going to give this award right now, but he's made something for it anyway. So this isn't an eBack award. This is a Dadback award for best ace of the season.
That ace
he
was
just
the
came
worst.
and gave that to me just now.
That was the freest ace of Hebby's life. Like,
there we
they
go.
all just peeked him.
Proper heavy moment. It was not quite that simple, Jerry.
Name
heroic plays from Heavy in the semi-final. Didn't quite see him through, unfortunately, but enjoy your Dadback award.
Ex-CGG and gifting opposition's aces. Name a better duo. What is that icon?
Anywho.
Okay, top-down view, the observer view of Castle's new icon is atrocious. Like, there's no... I'm telling you, this is just how it looks in the game. Highest quality, everything. It's awful. I don't know what's happened there.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like someone just, like, stomped on a chocolate
horrible.
bar.
Yeah.
It looks like you know, when you find,
like
a few months
very
after
old
Christmas,
jumper.
a few months after Christmas, you find, like, a mini Mars from a celebrations
Yeah.
box that's been, like, trodden on and is, like, under the sofa. It looks like that.
Yes!
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean. That is exactly what it looks like. Anyway, he'll be used to help out this gym hold that Ex-Cyberground are going for. Bits of an extension across construction, nothing we haven't seen in ECS this season. So many teams favoring that open setup across to cache to support a player locked within. Not expending too many reinforcements over in that area. It's actually relatively soft, as Runner is providing some resistance alongside Bomber, going for some aggressive peaks. Bomber ran out of Stripper, of course he did. Takes down Pause. It's a poor start again for Jaegers. They clawed it back last time. What can they do here?
You have to be expecting that. Like I said at the very start of the game, can I be Jaeger's coach? Please? Like, you've got to work
I
out
can
for
try
that.
and hook you up, I guess. I don't think...
I was saying, strip club run out on a cash defense. Well, here's a gym defense. You know, same applies. You can go for a strip club run out. They did
I think I saw Kender in chat. Get Jerry in.
Bomber, again, going unpunished as he finds Demantas now, the Jackal and the Zofia gone. They can just about manage with the Hard Breach utility and the Sledge, but it's a bare minimum for getting a 3 versus 5 going. We've seen in situations where it comes down to a 2 versus 2 at the end, even then, Ex-CGG just win their ones. So when you're at this man disadvantage, or 2-man disadvantage, I should say, Jaegers Esports really don't have much hope for you. That being said, Hazard is going to give us some hope with a kill onto Robbie, but Bomber responds in kind. Shift falls down to the C4.
an ever worsening position for Jaegers. They do have the angles open that they want, but it's not really much to use. Oh, that's actually going to be used against them. Hazard losing so much health again. Jaegers, 2 men, low health. What can they do to push this back? Well, there's so many players around. Thankfully for them, Ex-CGG are also on very low health. Just a bullet or 2 will do the trick.
It's tough. It's a war of attrition. They're dying a death by 1,000 cuts, and though that one was a headshot, Hazard was already lit up quite substantially. And now Tazi, who has also taken the brunt of a fair few peaks from Ex-CGG, does manage to claim Shatter, but it won't be long before he's swung on by yet another Ex-CGG member, who are finally getting their act together in terms of refrag, and it is paying dividends. Bomber closing that round out with aplomb.
Yeah, fantastic play from Ex-CGG. On top from start to finish, really, that round. They're still getting away with this aggression that Jaegers should expect by now. It's not as strong as it was on Oregon, per se, where they take 2, maybe even 3 very quickly, and then just play off that for the rest of the round. But the difference is they take the 1 and then play Clubhouse, just with a nice little advantage. And that is what they can do very well. I mean, they've shown it throughout this season, and right now with a 3-1 advantage, this could be the end for Jaegers. They got to find their way back now. They need at least 2 rounds on the attack to have a hope here.
They do, and they have time to get that, which is good. They have time to even get 3 in total, so it's certainly not all over, but with the momentum that Ex-CGG are carrying, there's a potential for them to just run away with it at this point. And I'm fearing the worst here for Jaegers, because they are of course a map down as well, not just these 2 rounds down. So Ex-CGG, they hold all the cards, and the only thing that they need to do really to go above par is to get this 4th defensive round on the board, and then they're going to be sitting pretty with everything in their control. They are adopting a slightly different approach to this defense. Their past few Church defenses have been a little bit shaky. We'll give Jaegers credit for that, forcing a couple of errors, and Ex-CGG did well to respond in the most recent Church defense, but it really came down to a lack of flank drones, allowing Shatter to get above and take out the player in blue. And I don't think that Jaegers are going to let that happen again. I don't think that it will matter too much, as Ex-CGG look to be playing slightly more passive this time around. I say that as Robbie's walking into garage.
Yeah, you can never really rule out some over-aggression here from the defensive side. They're looking up for Demantas, taking so much damage. Does deal some onto Robbie, but potentially exposed. He's standing in a dodgy position. I think it's intentional to hide away from the Valkyrie and maybe catch off Robbie here. Shift takes down Shatter elsewhere. Not sure where that is. Is that a vertical angle or within the site?
I have no idea where the Jaeger was
where
playing.
Is he?
But Paws has managed to enter garage. I just don't know where that
Shift?
was. Okay, well, Robbie at least will finally kill Demantas, and leaving that patch soft allows him a quick exit. But Big Dave, once again, gets his 2nd of the round, finding Runner, who couldn't really do a Runner in that situation, it would seem, and now it's leaving man count in favour of Jaegers on the attack. Once.
Yeah, Robbie's not giving up here. He's going aggressive. He wants to equalize that man count before they back off. And what would be more surprising than pushing in this position? It works for him. He takes down Tazi. Just such smart play from Robbie when you know you can get away with it. And here comes Paws, takes him down in response. He is always there to pull things back for Jaegers today. Not quite the superstar performance by the likes of Demantas, but Paws is still providing a great effort for his team. One more is down. I believe that's Tazi falling. And 2 versus 2 we now sit in. Full health for all remaining players until Paws comes up behind, drops Oil Pit, takes down Bomber. Now just the Valkyrie. 2 versus 1. A minute and 10 seconds. The intel, you can see a lot of players watching these Valkyrie cams. Actually, a lot of them watching Valkyrie instead at the moment. But giving some good intel. It's a good battle of intel here with the amount of drones remaining for Jaegers as well. And a lot of them are still in play. It's going to be tough for CA.
My bet is that Valkyrie cam is near useless in this situation, wherever it is, because a few people are sitting on it. Maybe it is closer to site, but yeah. CGG, get on cams, come on. There we go, Pause finally shuts it out, as the battle of the intel, as you penned it, goes the favour of Jaegers. They keep themselves alive in this. A 2nd attacking round, in the grand scheme of things, is pretty huge for them. And I think,
wow,
like,
yeah, that's
was
the 2 they needed. They could still get the 3, but that's very important for all the Jaegers fans in the audience. And on the cast, it's very good for them to get that. CCTV and Cash will be the next location for Ex-Cyberground. It was a mixed one last time around. Jaegers bringing it very close. But at the end, it was just a very quick swing, and that C4 allowed a little bit of security for Ex-Cyberground. But now that they've dropped the Monty, I feel like Jaegers have a better chance, because surprisingly, given the stats this season and what we expected this game, Shift is actually gunning his way through the entire team right now.
You say that as he's 2 and 4.
Well, he's been doing it the whole game, pretty
Across
much,
the best of 5.
bar Oregon.
What's nice to see, actually, is Hazard putting up the numbers, who's been asleep pretty much the whole day, and he's actually contributed. He's got positive KD, he's on that Thermite, he's playing the Fragmite, essentially, and that's great. That's good news for Jaegers, because they finally kind of got another missing piece of the puzzle together, and... Yeah.
Well, they've switched the roles slightly. They're putting Hazard on support and Pause on a bit more of a flex entry, which is what I was talking about earlier. And it seems to be working for them to some degree. We'll have to see when it comes to the defensive side. I imagine we might see Hazard adopting a bit more of a roaming play in general, with Pause on a slightly more defensive role. But attacking-wise, it is working out for them for these 2 rounds. Take this 1. It'll be very important for them, but... yeah, can they allow Ex-Cyberground to go that tiny step closer to their 3rd map?
I think last round, maybe the first round, and it includes this round, but we haven't seen a P10 Roni come out on Ex-CGG. No Mozzie, no Rooney. Instead, Robbie playing inside of Rafters. He's got the support of Shatter. He's on the Bandit, so they've opted to bring a little bit more in the way of Breach Denial. Not that it's going to do much, if you ask me, with the Maverick in play, but... it's something. Maybe he just wants to play the MP7. Who knows? He's got a C4 as well in hand, which a Rooney doesn't get the option to bring, but I mean, Mozzie does, so that's a bit of a null point. The opening's already been made to remove any sort of breach denial. With Kaid banned, it's all going to be floor level, so that's easy enough for the Maverick. And once they get a bit of pressure and that wall fully opened, then they can begin pressuring Robbie properly in this position.
I can see Jaegers here playing it very, very passive to make sure that breach is open with all the players in support before they back away, because they've had some issues as of late with players running out and getting spawn peaks. And even if they were watching Cyberground versus Lions Creed blasting out of rotates like mad, out of the map, sorry. As the defensive team. Tazzy takes down Shatter, which is a very, very good start. That's a C4 gone, most importantly, as well as the supporting player for Robbie. Now the Jaeger is isolated inside of the garage, trapped on the rafters, shields down. He's being pushed from the door underneath. He's going to have to run through the fire, and down he goes. Brilliant play from Demantas, getting a firebolt kill. Pause gets another. They're looking towards this 3rd round, but CA, he steps up only to fall straight down. Fantastic play from Jaegers. What a brilliant, incisive attack.
What a turnaround from them on the score sheet. 3-3. Suddenly, this is in their ballpark. Court park. Pork. That's what I think I combined court and park there. For pork.
Yeah.
A ball pork. It's in their ballpark. Just stick with it.
I'm pretty sure that's just called like a pork meatball. I don't know what you'd call that.
Yeah. Maybe. But either way,
a round sausage.
Grasping it. By the balls. Well, shout out to Dan, just an aside, for catching about 75% of the kills during an Ex-CGG defensive half.
Yeah.
That's a hard job.
On map 4
observer.
as well.
Yeah.
Man. Oh, good job, crew.
So I just had a coaster malfunction there. It was a bit scary. You know when it comes up with the drink?
Alright, this is the perfect time for an eBack award. As we go to the split, we got a basement attempt from Jaegers. Pretty standard lineup, no real surprises. The castle does indicate a good amount about what we're going to see. And given the placements so far, we have to wait and see. I imagine we're going for a quote-unquote SSG style. That does seem to be the plan. Let's have a quick... Oh, I've got last season's awards up. My mistake. What have I still got? Best team to watch. This one's always been contentious. Like previous seasons, it's gone to a whole mix of teams. I figure this season it has to be Machine Soldiers. They have been by far the most entertaining team to watch in contenders, majors, whatever it is. Jaegers and Ex-Cyberground are up there. Cyberground less so because they always win, so it's not as entertaining, just from a viewer perspective. And Jaegers, I feel the bias is there a bit too much. At least they've lost some games. But anywho, here comes Demantas pushing on down the stairs. Congratulations to Machine Soldiers. You're a very fun team. As obviously by the previous votes, given Matt that player reward. What is that? The drop in! Incredible play from Big Dave. Takes down another. Jaegers extend their advantage now. Pause using the UMP to take down Bomber. Only 2 players remaining within the first minute. I mean, he's shifting on you, certainly.
Yeah, Shatter got shattered on, shall we say, by the drop. That was one hell of a drop from the castle. Oh my god, pause. What you made
That was a
of.
heavy moment.
That was incredible. So now it's 2 versus 5, and I think Ex-CGG skipped a few steps, and that's exemplified by the fact that the first kill came from Demantas while him and the IQ were standing literally right next to each other on main stairs. How do you not notice that? It's crazy. Runner is trying to get some picks through this hatch. He will be rewarded with a kill onto Big Dave. Takes a lot of damage for it though. And then the 2 versus 4, that could prove costly. So wherever player buy boxes, but can't quite get the angle. Expect someone holding that soft wall from church. No one's there. Robbie's down main stairs. He's shattered that shield, giving himself a bit of an entryway. He sniffs a whiff of the air of Demantas, and that's just about enough to get the down. Now, the rest of defenders are actually pinned in place effectively by Robbie. He can hold across this angle, but as I say, that pause will find the angle onto Runner through that hatch, leaving Robbie in a 1 versus 3 effectively. Cooks a nade down towards that main doorway in church, but with 43 seconds left, Jaegers, they can afford to just wait this out. Robbie does get pause, and that downed player is rezzed of Demantas, but it cost pause his life. Robbie going for a moto push now, and he's met with a hail of bullets. Demantas finally justifying his existence in this round. He starts off with a kill with the SMG-11, finishes it off with a neat little wallbang into moto, and that is again a round in favour of Jaegers Esports as they push us up to a 4-3 scoreline.
Take the lead for the first time in quite a while since the first round of the game, having that ever so slight advantage now. Defensive side of Clubhouse with a strong map such as this for Jaegers in particular as well. Things boding well for them right now. Ex-Cyberground not offering up too much. They went bizarrely direct against that style of hold from Jaegers, which can work because it's effectively what Jaegers did to them. But Jaegers had that extra element. They just had that, whether it was the Monty, whether it was the kind of bravado of that tunnel push, whatever it was, just made the difference. And Ex-Cyberground didn't have that edge. They were caught off piece by piece and picked apart. Jaegers take the round. Now they move over to CCTV. They've got... I'm looking at that pulse because you don't usually see him here necessarily, which is actually kind of, it's not the most bizarre thing in the world because he's very useful. You just don't see it.
You're looking kind of sus right now. He's the imposter in this lineup.
He's very good for aggression here, in particular.
Yes. Yeah, he definitely is, and he can allow you to be a bit more confident, maybe, shall we say, with your aggressive plays. He provides that intel. I'm wondering whether he'll get value in the late game looking up from Lounge with those C4s. You've got a couple on the lineup, but honestly, most of that intel you probably would have gained from Banshees and Evil Eyes anyway. It just seems a bit overkill. I maybe would have preferred a War My pick or something in this situation, or maybe a little bit of drone denial, wall denial. The Mute would have been nice. Mute's always a good pick, and he's a surprise absence from this lineup. But Hazard going to make the MP5 work for himself as we see a spawn peak coming out from Jaegers, and that's against type, if you ask me. They do get that 8 down, and he gets a second onto Shatter. Hazard has finally come alive on Clubhouse. It's only taken you 4 maps.
Yeah, he's answered his critics being me, and maybe a bit of you as well.
Yeah, I'm joking.
But he's really shown up here at an important time here on Clubhouse, gets his 2k deep, but he's shut down from underneath. A nade tossed by Robbie, going for the revive here. It's risky for Big Dave. He gets away with it, but Hazard doesn't. He's finished off. A man got back for Ex-Cyberground, but it's still not fantastic. They are starting to get to work on this breach, but they've lost the Maverick! Pause, peeks underneath, down on that angle, takes down Bomber. 2 players against 4. Ex-Cyberground again find themselves in a horrible position if they don't want Jaegers to get onto 5 points.
Robbie can hold that angle as long as he likes. There's no one on Jaegers that are going to bite. They're not you. They're not going to overpeak these situations. A 4 versus 2 for Jaegers is as good as a round 1 for them. They've got the discipline they need to shut this out. And with Big Dave on the line as that pulse, they can perfectly read into at least the movements of one of these opponents. That being said, he is lying prone right now inside of Cash. So not putting his utility to best use, but they are aware of the fact that one is on Repel on Breach and one is out on Highway. So plenty of intel. Ooh, a tickle from the Alder at long range will do Robbie a little bit of damage, but not much. And as we hit the minute mark in this round, Jaegers, they've got plenty of time to have to burn, but a full read on this push.
Oh, yes. This is when the pulse really comes into play. He can just dance around, figure out where all of the remaining players are. They know the sledge is there. Robbie's coming in for the support as well. It's going to be a 2-pronged push, but they're pushing in through one single area, and the fork doesn't quite fit. Demantas finds the second. Some lovely play with the older. Brilliant play from Jaegers all around, and they take their 5th round. That's quite a few in a row now for them from a pretty weakened position.
That looked
what's that, 4 rounds in a row?
Yeah, it is 4 rounds in a row across the split, and that's the first time Jaegers have looked comfortably in control, if you ask me, in any situation. Maybe barring the very end of the last round down on Church, where it was that 1 versus 3. But that was very chaotic up to that moment. We actually had a lull in the middle of the round on a Jaegers defense this time around, and it's surprising, and I feel like I'm justified in saying that that's as good as a round win for Jaegers. They get into that position, and Ex-CGG, with their playstyle, I don't think they can comfortably adapt to it. They're looking perhaps towards a huge clutch moment and a lot of mistakes from Jaegers, but that's just not what Jaegers do.
Yeah, we're starting to see Jaegers take that favor ever so slightly. They brought it back from they almost brought it back to overtime, on the previous map. They brought it very, very close indeed on Cafe from a weakened position. Ex-Cyberground, it's not quite as dire. Jaegers just the 1 round away if they complete this triple site rotation here on Master and Jim. It's a very tough way back, because this looks to me like a Jaegers Clubhouse performance against some other team in ECS, which almost always results in a Jaegers win. This is a very comfortable game of Clubhouse for them, and it's not the Cyberground performance you usually see on this map. They've been shoved back. Jaegers really dominant here as of late. Ex-Cyberground did a lot of work early on in the map. They brought the Nook along, who might give them an extra element to some degree, but Jaegers aren't playing that intel heavy, I don't feel. It might only come to counter that Maestro.
I think it's probably best used by a solo push-up mainstays, but you've also got the frag, so playing the Nook from beneath is not a bad option if you get a decent read on anyone inside a bathroom or sitting in a anchor position inside of master bedroom, perhaps. That being said, overall, we're justifying a bad pick, right? Nook is not really optimal, no matter what way you paint it. And
no!
Punish shift. Robbie gets the Mantis as well. I was raving about the Nook pick, but it's the other operators on the attacking side that are actually doing the heavy work here. And already we're down to a 5 versus 3, but Hazard will step up yet again in this defensive split, getting another kill with that SMG-11 this time around. He'll almost land the second, does some damage onto the sledge, but CXA is there to land the headshot in response. Now 2 versus 4 ensuing for Jaegers. They've got a lot of time to burn. This is not looking great for them.
Oh, but pause! He comes round, swings, takes 2, gives them a chance right back, and thankfully for Ex-Cyberground, they take 1 back. They managed to locate him. CA is quick on the draw, and down goes the man. But still, there's an older remaining. It's in the hands of Tazzy. He's not been as prominent, less impact kills in big plays as of the last map or so, but he did some fantastic plays on Cafe. This is a massive moment for his team, potentially to clutch to bring them all the way to their match point. He's looking towards this logistics push. Pre-fire's coming through from CA. Tazzy goes first and he takes the kill. He's ready for the split but doesn't shoot. Shatter manages to sneak on by. The pings come off, the hard pings onto his position inside of construction, but they won't work anymore if he goes sneaky Nook mode. In he comes. Tazzy giving his position away with an impact. The nade will buy a bit of security for Shatter, and he swings, takes down Tazzy. No clutch for you. The Nook wins out the round, and Ex-Cyberground pull themselves that little bit closer here on Clubhouse.
Wonderfully well played in the 1 versus 1 there, but my oh my did Ex-CGG make it difficult for themselves. An almost unforgivable error, allowing Pause to swing on in from server and get that double kill onto highway. You've got to be expecting that. It's the oldest trick in the book when it comes to Clubhouse.
I think that entire round was just mistake after mistake. You see, it started with Shift using his entire mag on a drone and then being surprised when someone jumps in the window behind. Like he ran out of bullets from shooting the drone and then got shot running away. Very, very silly. Like, you miss enough bullets, you just got to stop and watch and protect yourself. He didn't have the support, and then the rest of his team dropping in that position. They lost the ground very early. Risky plays within the site as well. Hazard only getting a bit for it. It's not fantastic from Jaegers, not the sort of thing they need to do, but they can afford to rely upon their stronger sites. With that map, that round advantage, that they still have, they can win a basement here, and then they can go up and win a CC as well, potentially, to try and take this 7. And they have room for error as well. They just don't want to let Ex-Cyberground push their way back in.
Yeah, not too much room forever. Interesting little spoonerism there. But yeah, so not too much room for error from Jaegers. They will be feeling confident. That was their tertiary site, as you mentioned. It's a very expected result, shall we say. Maybe not in the nature that we saw. It looked like Ex-CGG basically had that on lock and then almost threw it away, but then knocked it out. So yeah, bit chaotic, shall we say. But essentially, it's on par for Jaegers. They just need to keep getting these primary and secondary sites in their favour. We're seeing a quick entry into Kitchen from Bomber and Co. They are wary of the threat of C4s looming. Demantas has got an evil eye in place, a black eye in place, but no C4s ringing out just yet. Looks like that was the first impact to try. Yeah, that was an impact to deny the hatch. Tazzy takes a lot of damage from the spray from Bomber, but not enough to kill him.
I think that was Demantas' C4, actually, as well as an impact, if I'm not mistaken. But he's down either way, so he can't use it. Robbie gets that kill on the IQ, locating the Valkyrie as well as the Maestro. Both Intel heavy operators dealt with, and now Ex-Cyberground in a very good position. Within the first minute, they've shut down 2 very useful operators. And that's exactly what you need on this site. Just a man advantage is the edge the attackers can have. It's always going to be chaotic when they push in, but now they're leaving it down to chance here for Jaegers. They're quite a slim one at that.
Big stuff from Ex-CGG to go all in on that kitchen verticality, getting the kills they need. However, they are now just relying on the blowtorch of the Maverick to try and get this hatch open. That is risky at the best of times. Hazard finds Robbie. Or was that down? I'm a bit lost. Anyway, down goes Robbie. No more IQ. So any evil eyes or black eyes that are remaining in play will go undetected. Oh, the hot drop comes through from Shatter and it cost him his life. What is he doing? Shift gets an easy kill there. Pause finds Runner in response, and now we're back at a Jaegers advantage with no hard boots remaining. What has happened for Ex-CGG?
Hazard has been fantastic this map. Just got to point out, he's got his 10th here. He just opened the floodgates, and there come the kills for Jaegers, taking a 5-2 disadvantage all the way back. But now it's back to the 2 versus 2, thanks to CA and the L85. A refrag comes out from Shift. Big moment from the Melusi. Him and Hazard now with split angles to hold. The smoke canister still remaining, just the one in hand. He's thrown it out, and it's burned out. So 25 seconds left. Big Dave is right underneath this player. Risky move running around like that. Takes a lot of damage. Bomber, he has a high damage enough weapon to deal a killing blow with just a body shot onto either of these men. But with 10 seconds left, they're too split up. He does have the diffuser, but there's no way he can get a plant down. He has to move now. He has to go swing on this player in the back of Church. 4 seconds. Shift gets another. What a fantastic round from Jaegers. They move on to match point.
This is it. This is almost our prophecy fulfilled. We said it would go to map 5. These two teams so evenly matched, it seems, across the wide map pool. You've got to be thinking about
7-2, 7-2, 7-5, and now we're on a 6-4.
This
so
could be a 7-5 as well. It's entirely possible.
It's likely.
Yeah, and I'm just worried because Consulate seems on the face of it like a CGG map, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. As right now,
that's more of a fairy tale Jaegers moment where they win the map that they've never played. I mean, maybe they have been hiding the strats.
Maybe. It's just the play style, right? Like, Ex-CGG just have the... Like, if we're looking at Consulate, you're relying a lot on spawn peaks, and you're thinking, that is Ex-CGG favoured day in, day out. The maps they have won, it's been so reliant, Oregon and Cafe, on getting that early advantage, making sure that they just shut out rounds that... basically on the flip of a coin, but they managed to make it a 70-30. Like it's a lopsided coin. It's a loaded coin for them. So that's going to be tough. But let's bring it back to the present. Jaegers are still within touching distance of a victory here after that round, and I've got to touch on one detail in that last round, which was the hot drop coming through from the Maverick. Right, that was a bit. We saw in the all chat during the chaos, or you may not have because you were carrying the play-by-play as a beautiful man you are. But Shatter was he was very confused about what happened there. He was like, I drew one line and the hatch got destroyed. That, my friend, is because the ace had already dealt damage to it. There's a now health system in play, and there has been for a while on hatches. So if it's slightly damaged, partially damaged by a Selma charge or by a Hibana pellet or something, that adds up. It adds up into whatever you have with the Maverick Blowtorch, and I believe it means that essentially you need to draw a bit less than usual to get it open. So, learn the game. Just be better. Chatter. He's on the thermite now. Much simpler.
Is he... I'd be interested to see if they're just going to try and rush in through that breach shift style. It doesn't seem like it right now. They're taking their time. Runner gets a kill. Demantas goes aggressive. He tries to find 2, but can only get the 1. Is traded out very quickly by Shatter. 4 versus 3 advantage. A quick start to the round from Ex-Cyberground. They're in a pretty strong position. There's no need to rush from here, especially as Tazzy is lingering nearby. But full garage control taken. Hazard, he needs to flank now. The plant's going down. Get that C4 going. There he is underneath. It's just too slow. Bomber, very smart, jumps out the way as Big Dave gets a kill. It's equalized by Robbie. Takes down Hazard. 3 versus 2. Make that 3 versus 1. It's nothing. Jaegers all fall. Ex-Cyberground keep themselves in it. They take their 5th round, and we find ourselves in the reverse situation to Cafe. Ex-Cyberground bring us to overtime, or Jaegers win the map. It all comes down to this next round.
That round did not stop.
Nope.
That just... Someone hit go, and it went from 0 to 100, and stayed at 100 for a solid 40 seconds or so. Incredible stuff by Ex-CGG, keeping up the pace, keeping the mental alive, and keeping themselves alive in this map. That was just... They were one step ahead every point of the way against Jaegers there. A beautiful kill at the very end that we got to see in the final kill cam. The call coming through, there's a pulse below in lounge, and the spray just working out. You know, you miss every shot you don't take, and that was Robbie proving it there with a nice bit of spray from the ARX. I am now worried because Jaegers Esports, they have dropped a cash defense. That was, as the script would go, their chance to lock it out. They now have to return here, essentially, or risk Jim. Or Barstock, which we're not going to talk about. We never talk about Barstock. Barstock is the black sheep.
I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for someone to play it. Why is it not happening?
It does happen, like, occasionally. Everyone flocks to Barstock whenever it shows up. whatever stream, whatever
it
language.
It's never happened since ECS has been called ECS on stream.
I want it to happen. Jaegers?
I know.
Do it.
Do it in overtime.
Not now. Maybe
yeah.
not today. Another time. When it matters less.
That would be a fairy tale story. Winning the bar stock defense. I mean, I wouldn't put it past Shift with a lot of his strats.
Honestly,
anyway.
like when it comes to outplaying Ex-CGG, if you have a pocket bar stock strat at this point, maybe it is the time to bring it. Like they have to solve it, and they can't rely purely on fragging ability for it. They've got to actually pick apart the defense, as weird as it may be. CXA.
I think Big Dave is looking through the drone hole in Garage right towards 2 players. CA, he's eyeing up some sort of roam. I don't think there is any to be found in this position, as far as I'm aware.
They've got a drone
there were players previously roaming around the basement. Have they gone? Yeah, Hazard. He's gone all the way over to the opposite side. Quite comfortable there. Big Dave providing some resistance in Garage as the breach takes place. Not as quickly on the main breach this time. They focused on trying to get that Garage control. Ex-Cyberground a lot slower. By this point in the round last time, they were blasting on in towards the site. So you can see how comparatively quick that was.
So Shift decides to drop out of Shaiko into Oil Pit. This is a bit of a safer position, but does he know that Runner is lurking on this bottom floor? It's going to take some time before he encounters him, and we see support coming through. Oh no, the Lucy completely giving away her location, and Runner will gobble him up just as Robbie finds Shift. Robbie again with another one onto pause, doing all the work. Isyana tearing apart the site. The Mantas is left alone, and wow, how quick was that from Ex-CGG? Their cash attacks have been blistering.
It's a far cry from the first defense of that site from Jaegers, which looked like quite a solid win in general. But since then, having absolutely nothing to offer up, Ex-Cyberground all over them. The quick move has been brilliant. I mean, they took their time and then just did the same thing straight afterwards. Runner or Robbie's going to take a pee break for a moment. It's a good time for a tactical timeout. Ex-Cyberground getting quite a few rounds in a row there. I mean, here we are, overtime.
Infinite.
It could be overtime. 2 rounds away from an Ex-Cyberground win here.
It's infinite overtime. This is what we've been waiting for.
Of course, I forgot.
And we'll come back to our faces for just a brief moment here so that we can
see our look of terror.
We've had a perfectly even first or regulation 3-3 each way. I've got to say, Jaegers, they've thrown away their opportunity to lock that out. That cash double defense really should have been theirs. One of them should have been theirs. That they just fell apart.
Just brilliant attacking so far on this Clubhouse. The defensive side's been pretty weak in general. The strong element has probably been Jaeger's basement defenses, and then there were a few scrambled together by Ex-Cyberground, but they weren't the most convincing either. So who has the attacking advantage? I mean, it doesn't really mean too much with the infinite overtime, but at least at the very beginning to get 2 rounds. Who has it? Do you know? Does production know?
Yeah, so the first team defending is Jaegers. This was Jaegers match pick. So Ex-CGG picked defense for regulation, and Jaegers picked OT defense here. But like I was mentioning earlier, with infinite OT, I'm not too sure that matters too much, right? You have to win an attack and a defense successively. That is the goal. To get that.
This might go on for a while, given what we've just seen. Then,
yeah. So it doesn't really matter when it comes to infinite OT. That's what makes it so much fairer. You've got to get that 2-round cushion to win. So first to 2, essentially, ahead of the other. And every time we draw level, it resets. That's it. It's exciting. It's really exciting.
Well,
I'm super hyped for this.
Ex-Cyberground have managed two rounds in a row once, I think. So far on Clubhouse, and then Jaegers, they had that 4 rounds in a row and then got the other 2.
Yeah, but that's without switching sides
on the attack.
So it's like, this is just a completely different game now.
It is, yeah. It's really tough to tell how anything's going to go. This game's so bizarre and very tough to call all the way through. Jaegers almost brought us to overtime on Cafe, but didn't manage it. This time, maybe throwing away a chance to take this one comfortably. It's now going to be a much tougher ask. They have to take 2 rounds in a row. They start on this defense of the bottom floor with a very extended hold. It worked so fantastically the first time around that they did this strategy. Then going a lot more defensively tight, a lot closer to the site the second time around. They're going for the first plan again. They're going back to their original strategy. Ex-Cyberground seem aware. They did put a lot of pressure on last time. They attempted it. Just losing some of those engagements nice and early was a real problem for them. Pause is down inside a construction. Shift is there. He could save him, but he's exposed from the window. Doesn't get the kill onto CA as he seals the kill onto Pause, and Runner is there, sweeping up red to take out the roam.
Oh, the
simple play. Jaegers picked apart.
Panic setting in there for Shift. He really could have responded a lot better. Bomber taking out the Mantis as well, and this could be a very key attacking round coming out onto the basement for Ex-CGG as they've established a 3-man advantage with barely a minute past, and now Hazard prone, doesn't hold the angle well enough as Robbie just swings him, but he's immediately shut down by the Aldo. It's going to have to be an ace clutch, but Shatter is there. Alex, the man, to find the frag at the very end of it, and again, a blistering pace of attack from Ex-CGG.
Match point.
Yep.
Series point. Grand final point. Ex-Cyberground, they are on the edge. Jaegers, they got to be very nervous about this, but they are on the attacking side. The attacks have been very strong so far today. Gym and bedroom being opted for. That makes sense. It's smart from Ex-Cyberground. The basement attacks were questionable. And the only time we've seen Gym Bedroom other than that was, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Jaeger's defense of it.
Yeah.
Which did not go too brilliantly for them. Ex-Cyberground fully on top in those engagements.
They have 100%.
The Jackal
win rate
picked
on
away
Gym.
for the ace as well. I don't believe, given this lineup, I don't think Jaegers are expecting this particular move.
No.
I think this could catch them off, and they're trying to hide it, I believe, by that Capcan pick away to the castle with the 6th pick. This is going to be a tricky one for Jaegers. We've seen crazy rounds here on Gym and Bedroom, and it might be the last of this entire season.
So what stands out to me right here is that we're seeing Runner on the Bandit. No mirror in play, so that's not an option to go from Bathroom. But with the castle in action as well, we can see a very kind of old style of Jacuzzi Wall hold where you protect the Jacuzzi Wall as long as you possibly can. Throw everything at it. You have a Rooney Gates to help with the burn. No ADSs, interestingly enough, but you've got Wamai to do some of that catching utility, although he's already invested 2 on this cash side as Robbie has put down his laser gate. So maybe a bit more of a heavy presence on the cash end of things in terms of utility. That being said, we can see right here, Robbie, he is setting up the denial from that gym window, which is key to try and open up Jacuzzi Wall. The real question is, Ex-CGG on the defense, and we're already 20 seconds into the action phase. No spawn peak has come out yet. Will it happen?
It's quite tricky on Gym and Bedroom, gotta say.
Yeah.
I mean, I expect maybe some stripper play running out of there, trying to take down Pause. He's already died in that position in this match, but he's standing strong currently as Demantas blasts into Garage Storage. Taking some early ground, put some pressure across to the cash player. The Capital could prove incredibly useful this round, opting for the LMG over the Para. Not a real debate particularly.
I think it works against Ex-CGG because if one of them swings, then a lot of them swing. So you want as many bullets as possible.
Yes, it's very smart for this purpose. So we can see how he can make use of it. Tazzy's been brought over to this area to try and get some angles open, put a lot of pressure. He just makes a single hole or 2 on this wall, and Shatter is in some trouble. He does have support across construction from Runner, but really not from this breach. There's not an angle that can prevent him from dying here if the angles are opened, and there they are. Shatter now has to watch his back as well as his front. He's relying on the Bandit for it. He's going to go for an aggressive move. Doesn't get anything for it right now. Half of the round gone. No players have dropped. Ex-Cyberground, reminder, this is overtime match point. They have 2 maps already. All they need is this round here, and they are ECS winners. But they've lost Bomber. That's mute down. Still a lot of players in this position. Strong. Shatter loses a lot of health, but pushes close. Takes down Tazzy. Shut down in response by Big Dave. Stepping up, bringing out the pistol, does the trick. 4 versus 3. Man advantage still there. How do you know? I mean, he's caught a gas, but it's great play from Jaegers. 50 seconds. They've got to figure out what they're dealing with and get on with it.
Yeah, not much time yet left as defenders all hold up. Man advantage for the attackers. Dematis moving around to one of these windows. These Capital Firebolt should be especially potent from this position. You can completely empty out the... what is that? Why are you punching the wall so much? Either way, it's decorative. It's important, okay? It's important that that bathroom stall is completely destroyed. I don't know why, but it is.
It's probably not the most important thing right now. Robbie, though, equalizes the man count. 20 seconds left. It's getting dire for Jaegers. They've lost their man advantage. Ex-Cyberground, they are eyeing up the championship here, but they've lost the man by the bomb inside of Master Bedroom. It's just the gym hold. 3 players now funneling towards this position. 5 seconds. All they need to do is cover the plant. Shift is on it. Players swinging round. Runner gets one. Plant denied by Robbie. Ex-Cyberground win 8-6 yet again on Clubhouse. But most importantly, they are crowned ECS winners of the spring season.
What a team. What a victory. Shatter and everyone else. Bomber, Runner, CXA, and the last one I can't remember, but they're all just amazing. What an incredible team. How have they done it? How have they won this in 3-1 fashion against Jaegers? It looked like it was Jaegers' one to carry through to the victory. They were 6-4 up at one point. 6-4. And now they lose 4 rounds in a row. 8-6, the final score.
Oh.
So close. Commiserations to Jaegers, who once again find themselves in 2nd place. It's heartbreaking for them, but Ex-CGG, you've only gone and done it. Congratulations.
Jaegers, they bring it close every time, but again, falling at the final hurdle. Great effort from them. Ex-Cyberground, fantastic. I mean, we surely can get CCV back in any second. There he is. Hey.
How you feeling?
What do you make of that, CCV?
Oh, CCV is muted in VMix. Oh. Well, okay, there's a little bit of a tech issue right here. We'll give CCV a moment to work out his grand re-entrance, but yeah, while he's here, while he's working that out, Ebac, what a performance. I know it must hurt you to see Jaegers fall again at the final hurdle, though.
On VMix right now.
Ebac, how do you feel? Not good, I guess.
No comment.
CCV, are you ready?
That's twice in a row I've had to shoutcast Jaegers lose the final. How many more can I take? That's fine. Fantastic play, and before CCV gets back into breaking that down, I'm going to give my personal... I've done the staff, I've done the community player of the season. There is also just the general EBAC player of the season, EBAC award that there's always been. And this season, it was dependent upon how that final went as to who I gave it to. But today, congratulations, Robbie, on your EBAC award player of the season. Sorry. Great effort. Fantastic play. And a well-deserved victory altogether. CCV!
Can you hear me?
Hello. Yes.
Okay, alright.
Got it.
Yeah, like I was saying, this was a journey in of itself. I mean, the best of 5, not to mention what these teams have achieved so far in the group stages and in the playoffs. Again, if anyone doesn't know, Ex-CGG, Cyberground Academy, completely undefeated in the spring division. I gotta say, this may be one of the first times like a team has gone like a completely clean sheet. I believe the only map they have lost was this one and one time against Lions Creed all the way back in the semi-finals. So that's a 2-map loss and God knows how many wins. But yeah, it was a large ratio. I absolutely adored all of the performances they've been putting up right since day one. And speaking of their matches since day one as well, I know all 3 of us have highlighted, but yet again, a poetic end. One of the first few matches both of these teams played in spring division. The same score, the same scenarios in the same ways. And for Jaegers Academy, well, in the grand finals, the same result. They have to taste defeat yet again. Their journey, well, it is one of triumph, possibly in the future. But for now, they still have to go through that phase of defeat.
Oh, well, without drawing too much attention away, I believe you were alluding to the fact, CCV, that you predicted the correct team to win the final, and you're very proud about it at the beginning of the season. So I'm going to dive into the EBAC Awards for. I mean, it's not worst caster. In the past, I've done least informed caster, or least knowledgeable member of staff, which has gone to Elder Brain the previous 2 seasons, of course. But this season, I've got stats to go with. So actually, the most informed members of staff. It's 2 people who not only guessed that Cyberground would win the majors in the league season as well, but also win the playoffs. 2 people guessed that entirely correctly. Could either of you want to guess who those were? Because it was neither of you.
I reckon it was Doolin, and let's go with Noah.
Ooh, completely wrong.
I'll say Kenny as the first choice, and possibly, see, it's a very tough call to make. I want to say the name of some ECS OG like Two Doors or Whippet. However, I think it's someone who is a new recruit. I know. Okay, I'm just going to go with Vapor. I know, just as a
no, Vapor predicted his own team to finish third in majors and then disappointed it. No, he was not right at all.
Wait, did that happen? He's Manic,
They
right?
Finished, I thought it was 4th or something like that.
No, Arctic finished 4th. Manic finished 3rd.
No, they were bottom, weren't they? Bottom seed, Revenge.
Oh yeah, sorry.
I thought
he was Manic for a second. He's Revenge.
No,
okay, fair enough.
Anywho, it was, congratulations, the most informed members of staff this season are Grissom for 1 and AJ.
Grissom's never gonna let us live that down, is he?
He won't.
End the stream.
But they know
Discard delay. Don't let him know.
Good job, gang. Hard done by there were. To be fair, Jaegers had more staff votes than Cyberground did to win the playoffs, and the league season as well. So a tough luck for most of the casters. The casters who got virtually everything completely wrong. Dulan, he voted for playing Ducks to win the whole thing.
They left after like 2 weeks.
And they left after a few play days. That's a bit unfortunate. All of the gang who voted for Footprint Gaming as well, as they left.
So good.
On top of that, they had 15 votes altogether from members of staff, which is by far the most expected team to win, and they didn't.
They were the ex-Makers Academy side from last season that stomped their way through contenders and were just incredible.
But I do have the particular award for least knowledgeable member of staff, because there was one member of staff who voted for a team, which was Lions Creed, during the main season, who didn't perform too well, and then couldn't decide, and then never voted. So Shiro, shout out for you for being the least informed member of staff. You did a terrible job of predicting this season, so congratulations, enjoy your ABAC award.
When you said like Lions Creed would finish at the top of the season, my heart sank. I was like, oh, this is it. This is what I said. Oh God. But yeah, I had especially after the previous season, right? Of course, you'd have confidence in Lions Creed, but yeah, not their best season. Hopefully, the next time we see them, it'll be far better. And of course, for Jaegers Academy as well. I'm just browsing through Twitter really quick, and I can see that the social media manager of Jaegers Esports, well, he's having a bit of fun. I am loving the new banner, I must say. It's great banter, yeah. But yeah, hard luck for them, I gotta say.
So, I'm going to take over for a second here and just say that we've got a couple of things looking forward to the new season, right? So, in case anyone was wondering, I'm sort of taking a step back from the lead role in ECS, handing things over to Noah, who is incredible, does so much work all over the place, so it's in good hands. I'll still be present, doing some casts and helping out a bit, but just so you all know, he's in charge now. It's going to be fun. More to the point, though, next season is just around the corner. We have our summer qualifiers qualifiers. They're coming up really close because we had to shift these finals a week to not clash with CL quals. They are this Saturday. Okay, so you haven't got long. We're gonna open up the sign-ups tomorrow for those, so it's right away off to the races, and then there'll be a brief gap before the start of next season, which is going to be on the 12th. Okay, so that's the first play day. There's going to be a fair few double game weeks so that we can try and get everything into a sort of a good steady flow and make sure that we end up in sync with our seasonal calendar of patch releases, because it's not great to have to play on new patches during the finals. So we're trying to avoid that and make sure that we get to the finals as quickly as possible. But yeah, that is it. New season, same format, everything pretty much the same besides the double game weeks, and hopefully it's going to be an exciting one. So yeah, keep an eye out for sign-ups opening tomorrow. CCV.
Absolutely, and this was again going to be my second point as well, Ebak. Like you mentioned, 3 consecutive seasons you've had the most broadcast. So as a closing statement on this entire season, not just Majors division, although most of our attention, most of the viewers' attention has been on this division, and well, most likely is always on the Major division, since the best performing teams have been produced from right here, except with the odd exception of what was the team name?
Shreks and Hobbits.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a Jaegers.
Shreks and Hobbits, yeah, from Opens and the worst seeding. But apart from that, I gotta say, like, including Open Division, including Contenders Division, is there any closing thought that differentiates, like, spring season to the earlier seasons of ECS that we've had? Perhaps the teams, or maybe even something else?
There were a lot of dropouts.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe you come up with something positive instead, Eva.
I don't know, I'm currently a bit heartbroken because that's the 3rd successive season that I've casted Jaegers out of the tournament in a row. Whether it's the quarterfinal, the final, I've been there. It's a big shame, but some brilliant plays. I mean, they've always lost to the team who've won, if that makes it. They got knocked out by Shreks and Hobbits, then Lions Creed and Ex-CGG in the final. So always second best, unfortunately. But positive things. There's lots of positive things. There have been lots of fantastic plays this season. Some incredible moments throughout. It's been a really good season of ECS. I'm excited to see... So I'm especially excited to see Majors next season because of Humble and Machine Soldiers. I feel like that's going to be really exciting. And there are some very good new teams that I know are trying to qualify for next season.
Yeah.
I've got some heads up. Quite a few of the casters are on teams that want to try and qualify for ECS. So that should be fun.
I'm looking forward to seeing Team Banzuki assemble. One other little positive that just occurred to me. First of all, this is a season where we've seen Ex-CGG come in the open qualifiers and take the whole dang tournament. So that is more of an advertisement to get involved next week with the qualifiers. But more importantly, I think this is possibly the first season where we've had a side competing in ECS that is simultaneously competing at a national level. So well done to Team Lo-Fi, as they were, Revenge CG, for doing so well and getting themselves to Polish Masters and also completing ECS. So it's really nice to see that sort of push up from this tier to a slightly higher tier that the league is kind of made for, come to fruition for once, which is, so that's quite a satisfying thing, I think, to end the season on, even though they didn't have the best season here.
Well, that's pretty much it. And again, Jerry, like you mentioned, sign-ups for, the summer season will be open from tomorrow. Again, if you have any queries, make sure you check out Elite Championship Series Twitter page. And of course, join our community Discord, where our just league of the staff members and admins can answer basically any query under the sun if you have regarding the teams, regarding substitutes. I mean, basically whatever you have, you can ask and it will be answered. I mean, again, chances are, if you are watching the stream, if you have been watching the stream, well, guess what? You probably play Rainbow Six Siege. If you haven't gotten a squad just yet, well, get your squad really quick. Tons of LFT channels, sign them up, and at the very least, at least play the open qualifiers. That's really going to be as a stepping stone in of itself. Even if you don't have the most tactical squads with support staff and the most brilliant players and whatnot. I know a lot of casters are signing up as well, and like you guys mentioned just now. So not the best of squads, not the best of fraggers. Again, I myself, when I played in the start half game, I mean, it was practically easy to shoot everyone on the server. Like, I dropped like a 13k. Okay, never mind. What?
Of course you bring it up.
I had to, like, it was one of my best performances, and the thing was, I didn't prepare anything.
Well,
but in
that's
this
how
case,
it works.
Yeah,
You're talking to a 3-time staff match winner right here, and I never prep, so it's the secret. Secret to success. Also,
I don't
get
know
on
what
a
you
team with
guys are
people that
talking
can play.
about. Prep is the only way that we won that first game last season.
The Clash strats were amazing, to be fair, Ebac. I was very in awe of them. I was disappointed that you destroyed Jess's team so comfortably that I didn't get to play them, but whatever. CCV, I think it's time for us to take it out.
Too easy.
absolutely, yeah. It's been an honor, gentlemen, to be with you, not just on this grand final stream, but throughout the season as well. And it has been an honor for all of you viewers to join us for the spring season. However, well, all good things must come to an end. So it is time we close our spring season and open the doors to the next one. However, stay tuned. Keep an eye out for all the updates. As for now, well, we'll be going off. Thank you everyone for watching one final time Elite Championship Series Grand Finals between Jaegers Esports and Ex-CGG. I am the real CCV, and well, I'm signing off. We'll see you later, and keep watching. Stay tuned. Bye-bye.
Bye.